time for Dodger baseball. From Dodger Stadium, Sportsnet LA presents the Dodgers as they take on the San Francisco Giants. Hi, everybody, and a very pleasant Saturday to you. Opening day is history. The Dodgers have opened up 5 times in the last 7 years against the Giants, had beaten them 4 in a row, but not yesterday. So we'll see if they can recover today. It'll be left-hander Paul Maholm on the mound for the Dodgers, making his debut here at Dodger Stadium. He spent 7 years with Pittsburgh, also with the Cubs, and last year with Atlanta, where he won 10 games. He was 0-1 against the Giants last year, 2-3 lifetime. On the mound for the Giants, their big man, that would be Madison Bumgarner, 3-1 against the Dodgers last year with an ERA of less than 2, and he is 8-3 lifetime. For the Giants, just don't look away. 25 of their 31 runs they've scored so far this year have come with 2 out, including all 8 runs they picked up in the first 2 innings yesterday. So game 2 of the 3-game series, tomorrow night at 5 o'clock, it'll be Matt Cain and Zach Greinke. Pull up a chair, relax, get ready for a good ball game, and we'll have it coming up with a whole lot more.
Stadium here at Chavez Ravine. Well, any given day, there's going to be an odd man out situation when it comes to the Dodgers outfield. Today, in fact, it's a 2-man out situation with both Andre Ethier and Carl Crawford not in the starting lineup because of the left-hander Madison Bumgarner on the hill for the San Francisco Giants. Don Mattingly saying it's nothing more than a matchup situation. He talked to both of the guys, and of course they understood the fact that they're left-handed hitters. not really matching up well against a left-handed pitcher on the hill. Both Carl Crawford and Andre Ethier saying they expected it a little bit, that in fact that they weren't going to be starting, but Mattingly saying they both have an opportunity to get into the game in the later innings. Both guys told us that, you know what, it's about winning, it's about putting the team first, and both guys feel very comfortable, especially knowing it's the beginning of the season, 162-game season, that they're going to need days off. Don't expect this to be something that happens all the time, although with the Dodgers outfield situation, it seems to be a topic of discussion. They have 5 very capable outfielders today, Andre Ethier and Carl Crawford, not starting. First pitch coming up right after the break, Game 2 between the San Francisco Giants and your Los Angeles Dodgers. Vince Scully on the call. We'll be right back.
Wherever you may be, it's the Giants and the Dodgers, a beautiful blue sky overhead. Who could ask for more than that, especially if you are a rabid ball fan? You respect the rivalry and you love the prospect of another good ball game. For the Giants and the Dodgers today, it'll be a battle of left-handers. Bruce Bochy sending out Madison Bumgarner. Bumgarner 3-1 against the Dodgers last year. And Paul Maholm making his Dodger debut at Dodger Stadium. You may remember, he pitched briefly, struck out Miguel Montero in one at-bat in Sydney, Australia. But this is really the debut here in the big house at Dodger Stadium. For Maholm, after 7 years at Pittsburgh, Chicago, and Atlanta, he goes up against Bruce Bochy. Bochy has been the manager for 8 years with the Giants, and he has managed 19 consecutive years. Here are the names on his card. Angel Pagan opens up in center field. Hunter Pence in right. Pablo Sandoval at third. Buster Posey will be behind the plate. Michael Morse in left field. Brandon Belt, who has hit safely in 4 of 5, will be at first base. Brandon Hicks will be at second base. Yet another Brandon, 3 Brandons in a row. Brandon Crawford is the shortstop, and Madison Bumgarner is the pitcher. So Paul Maholm, among other things, he has induced a major league high since 2006. He has had 184 double plays turned in behind him. Maholm, breaking ball pitcher, very crafty, having spent enough years in the big leagues to know his way around. and going up against a very tough Giant lineup, a lineup that never says no, and 25 of their 31 runs have been scored this year with 2 out, and that includes all 8 runs that they scored yesterday in the first 2 innings. They'll have Angel Pagan, followed by Hunter Pence, and then Pablo Sandoval here in the first inning. Angel Pagan, always very active against the Dodgers, waiting for Mahalam, who's on the grass, waiting for the ball to work its way around the infield, and we're about ready to get started. Angel Pagan, 7 opening days for the 32-year-old, and he's off to a great start. He's hit safely in all 5 games and driving in at least 1 run in 4 of the 5. He had a 3-run go-ahead home run hit Thursday in the 8th inning. So he's off to a great start, hitting .391 and 5 for 8 with runners in scoring position. So Mahalam ready, his first pitch down and away with a fastball, 1 ball and no strikes. Pagan followed by Hunter Pence and then Pablo Sandoval. Giants split 10 here at Dodger Stadium last year. Take low and away, so Mahalam now behind 2-0. Lovely afternoon for Bruce Bochy and the Giants. They come a visiting, and it's 65 degrees with no appreciable wind at all. The 2-0 pitch on the way, and Pagan takes a strike. Behind the plate today is a story all by itself, and that would be Cowboy Joe West in his 36th year as an umpire in the major leagues. He is tied behind Bill Clem and Bruce Fleming. They each worked 37 years. Another pitch for a strike, and the count 2-2. So Joe is 3rd, but by next year he'll be joining Hall of Famer Bill Clem along with his compatriot Bruce Fleming. 2-2 the count to Angel Pagan. Left-hander Mahalam ready, delivers, breaking ball is a little low. 3-2 the count. Paul Mahalam is 6'2", about 220. He'll be facing Hunter Pence next, who's on deck. Mahalam from Holly Springs, Mississippi. He went to school at Mississippi State. 6'2", 220. And the end of June, Paul will be 32 years old. First came up to the Pirates back in 2005. 3-2 pitch is swung on and fouled off. 3-2. So Angel Pagan, who normally gives the Dodgers a bad time, in yesterday's game, the spearhead of the attack, he had a base hit and a walk. Mahalam goes all the way with him now, and the left-hander ready, delivers, and it's sprayed foul down the right field line. Out of play. Pretty hard for Mahalam to be asked to really be effective. I mean, he pitched to 1 batter in Sydney, and now here we are on this late date, late in the sense that we have gotten into April, and this being April 5th. But he's out there, and Mattingly watching him carefully. Oh, by the way, in case you wonder, Yasiel Puig is starting today. Puig is in right field. Don Mattingly held a press conference before the game. Here's the 3-2 pitch to Pagan. That's taken low, ball 4. And somebody asked Mattingly about Puig. Was he in the ballpark? Don said, I got here at 7:30 this morning, and I think he beat me here. So we'll see about a lesson learned for the wild horse in right field. Meanwhile, Pagan, who is a bit of a wild horse himself because he runs very, very well, and Hunter Pence checking in. Pence off to a very slow start, hitting half a buck. That's right, 0.50, but a marvelous player and fun to watch. Constantly in motion. He had 283, and they throw to first, and Pagan diving back to the bag. Pagan, of course, last year had hamstring problems, but he can steal a base for you. He has stolen as many as 37 in the big leagues. So we'll see about Mahalam's move as he looks in and works on Hunter Pence. Pence, who had a 7 RBI game against the Dodgers last year, takes outside for ball one. 1-0 the count to Hunter. Most RBIs in a game here at Dodger Stadium against the Dodgers, Dave Kingman and Fernando Tatis each had 8 RBIs in a game. Tatis, you remember, hit 2 grand slams. Here's the 1-0 pitch on the way. High and chase, and a 1-ball, 1-strike count. So Hunter Pence at 30, he's had 7 opening days, a 2-time All-Star, and last year played in all 162 games. In fact, he only sat down and missed 13 innings all year. That's quite a record for a modern-day player. They just don't go the distance. Pence fouls it back. For the Giants, you'd have to go back to the old Polo Grounds days when Alvin Dark, who was the captain of the Giants and a great shortstop, came off the campus of LSU. He was a good football player as well. And Dark played in the mall, but in those days, all meant 154. So Pagan takes his lead. Pence waits. 1-2 pitch. Swung on. Ground ball to short. The feed by Ramirez. The turn by Turner. And there it is. That's the Mahalam trademark. We mentioned that he leads the major leagues in inducing double plays. That would be 185 double plays turned in by Paul Mahalam. And it goes from Ramirez to Turner to Gonzalez. So 2 down. Good start for Hanley Ramirez to dive and catch up to that ground ball, which otherwise goes into center field. So instead of being in trouble, Mahalam now gets 2 quick outs, and the batter is Pablo Sandoval. Pablo Sandoval can beat you a lot of ways, and yesterday was a perfect example. He went 0 for 3. But had a big part with a great diving catch of a line drive hit by Uribe that might have turned the game around. But Uribe robbed by his opposite third baseman, and a somewhat trimmer Sandoval than he appeared last year. Was one reason he has his shirt tucked in pretty well. As the year goes along, that shirt kind of spills out over the belt buckle, and you're not quite sure what's cloth and what's Sandoval. The pitch bounced at the plate. 1-2 the count to Pablo. Ambidextrous and a switch hitter. And a solid performer. The Sandoval hitting right-handed against the left-hander Mahalam. On deck, Buster Posey. The next pitch to Pablo, whacked foul outside of third. Using the bat like a blackjack, he came down on top of a high pitch. Pablo stands at 5'11", and they have him listed now at 240. He was listed higher than that last year. He has one of the great eyes for the strike zone in Major League Baseball. The 1-2 pitch swung on, golfed a line drive right at left field, and that's where Scott Van Slyke stays with it, and that'll be that. So Hanley Ramirez, a diving, smothering stop to take a hit away from Hunter Pence, turn it into the double play, and the Giants go quickly at the end of half an inning, no score. As the Giants fail to score, and the Dodgers coming up now in the bottom of the first inning. We can take a look at Don Mattingly's lineup. And yes, Virginia, Yasiel Puig is in the game, leading off in right field. Justin Turner goes against left-handers to play second base. Hanley Ramirez at short, and Adrian Gonzalez at first. Matt Kemp is in center. Scott Van Slyke is in left. Juan Uribe at third. A.J. Ellis behind the plate, and Paul Maholm on the mound. On the mound for the Giants, a big North Carolinian, Madison Bumgarner, 6'5", 235. Last year he was 13-9, had a great ERA of 2.7. The year before he was a 16-game winner and had an ERA of 3.3. He's the kind of pitcher who certainly appears to be getting better every year. Yasiel Puig, who homered against him last year, checks in. Bumgarner delivers. Fastball high and tight. Ball one. It was back in June last year. Puig hit a home run in the first inning. It tied up the game eventually in the 8th inning, being Yasiel's first. Dodgers got two and went on to win the game 3-1. Puig then lifts one to left field, moving over is Michael Morse to make the catch for the out. So Puig, fly ball to left, and we have one down. The last time the Dodgers saw Madison Bumgarner was the middle of September, and he pitched the Giants to a 4-2 victory. One down, Justin Turner in and out of the lineup along with D. Gordon, and it's Turner's turn to play. The answer to what the Dodgers would do against left-handers is pretty obvious today. They sit down both Carl Crawford and Andre Ethier. So the pitch off speed in for a strike, and the count 0-1. Justin Turner, local boy, born here in Long Beach, went to Cal State Fullerton, a veteran up and down in the Mets organization for several years. The strike one pitch waved at and missed, and the count 0-2. Turner with Hanley Ramirez hitting back of him. Bottom of the first inning. No score in the ball game. Bumgarner, both feet on the rubber, looks down to get a sign. Now the strike two pitch on the way, high and away, ball one, 1-2. When Bumgarner got his very first major league victory, it was against Milwaukee, and he became the second youngest Giant pitcher in the last 25 years to win his first big league game. He's low to Turner. That makes it 2-2. At 20 years, 339 days, missed being the youngest by 1 day. Matt Cain, 20 years, 338 days when he won in 2005. Turner a fly ball to center. Pagano late start, goes back to get it. So two fly balls, two down in the first inning, and now Hanley Ramirez 13, coming up.
Hanley Ramirez.
One thing that Bumgarner has certainly improved on would be holding runners on and preventing stolen bases. In 2012, even though he won 16 games that year, there were 27 stolen bases against him. And then last year, 8 steals and 7 caught. So Madison improving in every area, and the left-hander working on Ramirez. Bumgarner delivers a bullet hit down the left field line, one hopping up into the stands. So it'll be a ground rule double for Hanley Ramirez with 2 outs. So boy, did that ball hurry its way into the seats. Just inside the line and up in the lower deck. Hanley got a fastball and knew what to do with it. Line drive double and bouncing up and in. So a runner at second, 2 down. Adrian Gonzalez coming up, and the first thing you do is look at the infield. And with a runner at second base, they will not put on the shift. San Diego did it, except in this kind of a situation. The Giants the same. So it's an orthodox setup on the infield. And Adrian trying to pick up Hanley Ramirez. The first pitch, off-speed curveball, swung on and missed, and the count 0-1. In looking at the head-to-head confrontation, Adrian Gonzalez hitting 100. He is 2 for 20 in the past against Madison Bumgarner. Dodgers have 2 home runs against Bumgarner. The left-hander delivers, fastball this time, foul back to the screen, and the count 0-2. So you have a good battle here, a fellow who is so tough on left-handed hitters against a veteran left-hand batter who's faced them all. No balls and 2 strikes the count. Waiting on deck, hitting 5th, Matt Kemp. Bumgarner out of a stretch as Kemp waits, and Gonzalez swings and misses, and down he goes. So Gonzalez strikes out. They lead Ramirez at second base, and at the end of an inning, no score. In the Giant dugout, protecting that very valuable left arm. Gave up the line drive double to Ramirez, but turned around to strike out Gonzalez. So into the second inning we go. No score, with Buster Posey, Michael Morse, and Brandon Belt coming up in that order. For Buster Posey, going in yesterday's game, he had a double, struck out a couple of times, went 1 for 4. Buster off to a fine start, hitting .375. Posey against Mahalam has been a .400 hitter. He is 3 for 7, batting .429. Mahalam starts him off speed for a strike, and the count 0-1. That changeup was 70 miles an hour. So Posey waiting, the heart and soul of the ball club. And the strike one pitch on the way. Buster chases one low out of the zone, doesn't get it, and the count 0-2. So Paul Mahalam, who immediately lived up to his reputation, we had just finished telling you he leads the majors in inducing double plays since 2006. Sure enough, he got Pence to hit into a double play. He misses a little low and off the plate. 1-2 the count to Buster Posey. Posey, 2-time All-Star. He's had 4 opening days. The next pitch just misses the inside corner, and that runs the count. 2 balls, 2 strikes. That was so close to the inside corner, and maybe a trifle high in the judgment of Joe West, the plate umpire. Mahalam works quickly, comes back away, so he's been in and out, up and down, and a 3-2 count. Posey had a solid spring. Hitting back of him is a newcomer to the Giants, Michael Morse. 3-2 pitch on the way. Ground ball back a third, backhanded on the line. Long throw on the money by Juan Uribe. Uribe handling that way back of the bag and just inside the line. So first he had to get to it, then he had to make a long and accurate throw, and it was right to Adrian Gonzalez. So a fine play by Juan Uribe, and we have one down, and that'll bring up Michael Morse. So Uribe turns in a good play. Michael Morse coming up. Morse played in yesterday's game, had a base hit his first at bat, and takes ball one. Wound up going 1 for 4, and then was lifted for defensive purposes. Juan Perez finished up in left field. Big guy with power, hit better than 30 home runs in his career. Morse takes another one that misses, and the count now 2 balls and no strikes. Michael coming over from Baltimore. He also played with Seattle last year. 2-0 pitch on the way, and that's inside, ball 3. So Mahalam, who certainly works quickly, goes 3-0, and Morse backs out to try and slow things down. Morse, a big man, 6'5", well over about 230. Mahalam's 3-0 pitch, and that's away, ball 4. So Mahalam, who certainly figures to walk some people,
Number
as
9,
we mentioned, he hadn't pitched at
Brandon
all.
Belt.
He pitched a 1/3 of an inning. That's when he struck out Miguel Montero in Sydney, Australia. He has 1 out, and the batter is Brandon Belt. And Belt off to a fine start. He's hit safely in 4 of 5. He's hit homers in 3 of the 5 games. Belt yesterday had a single in 4 at-bats. Hits a line drive over the head of Ramirez for a base hit. Kemp gets it back in. Stopping at second is Morse. So for Buster Posey, it took a fine play by Uribe to get him, and then Morse walks and Belt promptly singles to center, and the Giants are in business. First and second, and Brandon Hicks coming up. The first of the Brandons. So Hicks, the second baseman, a non-roster player who played so well in the spring that he made the big club, started yesterday, in there today, and he takes a strike, and the count 0-1. Hicks yesterday had a couple of doubles, went 2 for 4. Brandon in and out of the box. He's from College Station, Texas, went to school at Texas A&M. Mahalam checks the runners, comes back with a curveball hit to the hole. That'll go through the left field. They are not going to run Morse. They'll stop him at third. So the Giants now have the bases loaded with 1 out. Might not have even been that except for Uribe's nice play. So following Uribe, you get the walk to Morse. Then you get Belt a base hit. Now you get Hicks a base hit. And the Giants with the bases loaded, 1 out, and Brandon Crawford coming up. It'll be very interesting what Crawford does. Brandon, who went to school here at UCLA, last year against the Dodgers was 5 for 51. In other words, he played a lot, and he hit .098. The Giant fans encouraging Crawford as he gets a start over Joaquin Arias. Bases loaded, 1 out, no score. Mahalam's fastball is hit to second. They will get 1 out, but not 2, and a run will score. So Crawford hits into a force play. That erases Hicks. Moving to third is Belt. Coming home is Morse. And it is 1-0 in favor of the Giants. So the Giants coming in had scored 25 of 31 with 2 out. And they get a run today on the 2nd out. And for Mahalam, he's not finished. First and third, and Madison Bumgarner, the batter, with 2 out. In the inning, a fine play by Uribe for an out. A walk to Morse, a single to Belt, a single to Hicks, and a force play drives in the run. Could have been worse if Uribe did not make the accurate throw. Mahalam ready, and the first pitch, fastball inside corner for a strike, and the count 0-1. So Bumgarner, who pitches left-handed, bats right-handed. No balls and 1 strike. Belt and Crawford take their leads. Mahalam's next pitch is fouled away off to the right. No balls and 2 strikes the count. Giants take a 1-0 lead here in the top of the 2nd inning. Mahalam rubbing a wrinkle into a new ball. The outfield reasonably shallow with a pitcher at the plate. And you have Belt and Crawford out on the corners. Mahalam ready. Strike 2 pitch. Slow breaking ball pushed out in front of the plate by AJ. 1-2 the count. Mahalam has now made 34 pitches, 20 of them strikes. He figures to be fighting the strike zone. He's walked 2. Paul out of a stretch. Bumgarner waiting. And the 1-2 pitch is a change. Rattles around in the dirt. Blocked by Elliott. Holding on at first and thinking about running was Crawford. But you don't want to make the last out in the inning with the pitcher at the plate. So 2-2 the count. Deuces are wild indeed as the Dodgers look on en route. Hyun-Jin Ryu had his rough day yesterday. Reports in fine fettle for today. Just one of those things. The 2-2 pitch coming up. Mahalam delivers and it is low and inside. Ball 3. So for Mattingly, he is seeing a pitcher who did not have any work really. Just missed coming up, but it dips low under the knees. So 3-2 the count to Madison Bumgarner. Mahalam doesn't fool around. He comes right back 3-2 and it is swung on and fouled away. Crawford going, of course, on the full count pitch. So Brandon back to first. Brandon Belt, Brandon Hicks, Brandon Crawford. They have put the brand on the Giants and they're leading 1-0. Mahalam again ready. Bumgarner waiting. A 3-2 pitch. Ground ball foul outside of third. So Mahalam going 3-2, and of course he certainly does not want to get Bumgarner on base and then look at Angel Pagan. Bumgarner 0 for 1. Actually only lasted 4 innings in his first start. The 3-2 pitch. Madison check swing on strike 3 called. So Bumgarner strikes out. Strikeout number 1 for Mahalam. Giants get 1 and lead 2. And at the end of an inning, 1-0 San Francisco. Inning 1-0 Giants, and a reminder tomorrow Dodgers and Giants at 5 p.m. and the first 15,000 kids 14 and under in attendance take home a Yasiel Puig Fathead, compliments of Time Warner Cable. So for tickets, visit Dodgers.com/promotions, and it should be a good ball game. That'll be Matt Cain against Zach Greinke. Monday an off day, and then Tuesday and Wednesday the Detroit Tigers. Matt Kemp, Scott Van Slyke, and Juan Uribe coming up against Madison Bumgarner. By the way, you have to give Bumgarner a little credit for that at bat. When he faced Mahalam, he quickly had the count against him 0-2, and he fought it off until he finally struck out on the 8th pitch of the at bat. So in the second inning, here is Matt Kemp. Bumgarner delivers and jumps a strike in there, and the count 0-1. Dodgers had Ramirez double with 2 out in the first inning, and they left him. That has been the big difference in just the short 1 game plus today. With runners in scoring position, the Giants are 6 for 7. The Dodgers with runners in scoring position 3 for 15. And of course, the Dodgers are not going to get away what they did in San Diego. Pitch fouled away by Kemp. To refresh your memory, Dodgers might have won 2 out of 3 in San Diego, but they hit a magnificent 185. And they certainly have to do a heck of a lot better than that. 1-2 the count to Kemp. Matt, who was in 179 games in 2 years, returning yesterday. Bumgarner delivers, and it's fouled away. Matt, of course, had a magnificent year. Going back to 2011, he was in 161 games. He had 39 home runs, 126 runs batted in, hit .324. He also stole 40 bases that year. Bumgarner bounces the pitch, and the count 2 balls and 2 strikes. So the Dodgers hoping that through it all, Matt Kemp will regain the magic that he had 3 years ago. Kemp 6'2", about 225. Big man who still runs like the wind. Right-hander at the plate, the left-hander on the mound. 2-2 breaking ball, check swing. He's done. And a tag by Posey on a pitch that wound up in the dirt. So 2 strikeouts. Gonzalez to close the first, and Kemp now to open up the second, and that'll bring up Scott Van Slyke. Bumgarner in a 201 innings last year struck out 199. So Van Slyke is already seeing Gonzalez and Kemp pay the price as he checks in, and Bumgarner ready to go to work against him. Giants lead 1-0 second inning, and the first pitch fastball in for a strike. Throwing nice and easy. Bumgarner at 92 just slipped that thing in there. Madison looks over the fingertips of his glove. The left-hander ready in the strike 1 pitch. That one is low, and 1 ball and 1 strike. Bumgarner at 6'5", standing on a 10-inch mound. The 1-1 pitch on the way. Bumgarner delivers off the plate, ball 2, 2-1. The height of the mound certainly has a big difference in the relationship of a pitcher to the hitter. It was a couple of inches higher when Bob Gibson dominated the National League. And do you know when Babe Ruth was hitting all his home runs, the mound was 15 inches high, 5 inches higher than it is today. 2-1 pitch, that's a little low. So Bumgarner behind now, 3-1. Yeah, it only looks like a little mound. The modern day slang, which I don't like, calls it a bump, which to me, oh well. Anyway, 3-1 the count to Scott Van Slyke. Bumgarner deals low, and Scotty's aboard. So Bumgarner with 2 strikeouts now walks a batter, and Juan Uribe coming up. Juan Uribe flied to left, doubled, and then the key out of yesterday's game with a couple of runners on. Uribe ripped what looked like a double to go down the left field line, score 1, maybe even 2. And Pablo Sandoval, a diving backhand catch to save the day for the Giants. So here's Uribe checking in at the plate. And Bumgarner looks in to get a sign. Left-hander, a check of Scott Van Slyke, works the first one low, ball one, 1-0. Juan Uribe in the past hitting .250 against Bumgarner, 5 for 20 with 1 home run. Uribe and Puig are the Dodgers who have touched up Bumgarner, 4 home runs. Van Slyke held on by Belt. Bumgarner delivers, ground ball slowly up along third, going foul. Though Uribe will come back and Van Slyke will return to first. Again, just to refresh your memory, with a runner at first base against Bumgarner. His first year in the big leagues, the league stole 8 out of 10. His next year was very tough, 12 stolen, 11 caught. And then maybe it's an aberration or whatever, but in 2012, the league stole 27 and the Giants caught only 10. But then last year, he really got tough, 8 stolen, 7 caught. So we'll see what the Dodgers do with Uribe and Van Slyke at first. It's 1-0 Giants. Madison, high set up around the collarbone, slow curveball, and Uribe way out in front of it. 1-2 the count. You could look at all the numbers in the world about Madison Bumgarner, but you know the thing that impressed me most of all? 2 years ago, he pitched a shutout in Wrigley Field. The wind was blowing 30 miles an hour out, and he shut out the Cubs. Fastball almost hit Uribe, and the count runs to 2-2. That was his only shutout that year, but to shut out the Cubs at any time in Wrigley, but a 30-mile-an-hour wind going out. Wow. 2-2 to Uribe. A.J. Ellis on deck. Bumgarner, hands together up around the neck. Here he comes, and it's foul back. That looked like a little bit of a cutter. It was 91 miles an hour, but sitting up here, you could see that ball just seemed to jump in at Uribe's hands. So the count stays 2-2. Another thing about Bumgarner, he is a workhorse. He's turned in over 200 innings 3 straight years. Van Slyke at first, pitch to Uribe, slow curveball, and he hooks it into left center. That's going to drop for a base hit, and it gets by Pagan, and they're going to wave in Van Slyke. Throw to the plate, he scores. Into second base is Uribe, and the game is tied 1-1. So Van Slyke scores from first on Uribe's double. What helped the Dodgers, Pagan tried to cut it off and couldn't do it. He reached down with the leather, couldn't help it. Over to get it was Michael Morse, and that was the difference. That's what allowed Van Slyke to score from first. The throw was cut off anyway. So it's 1-1 as Uribe doubles, picks up a run, and the batter now, A.J. Ellis. A.J. Ellis going all the way behind the plate last night, or yesterday afternoon, 0 for 4. And the first pitch to A.J. is a trifle high, ball 1, 1-0. A.J. hitting about $1.50 for the year, and hitting less than that, $1.25 against Bumgarner. He is 3 for 24. Takes the pitch low. 2-0 the count to A.J. Ellis. 1-1 tie, second inning. Paul Maholm out on deck. Scott Van Slyke scoring from first on the double by Uribe. Now the 2-0 pitch on the way. Fastball in for a strike. A.J. gave, thinking it was too far inside. 2-1. 1 run, 2 hits, no errors for each side. Game 2 of the 3-game series. Bumgarner again from a stretch. And the 2-1 pitch swung on, line to center. Pagan comes up to make the catch. Holding at second is Uribe. So Ellis hits the ball hard but lines out. And that'll bring up Paul Maholm. Have no idea whether Maholm is much of a hitter or not. Well, we'll find out. And of course, he bats as he pitches, left-handed all the way. Mahalam waits. Bumgarner looks in to get a sign. Paul Reddy takes a look at the first curveball for a strike, and they count 0-1. Mahalam's been around a long time. He does have 2 home runs in his past. Bumgarner again out of a stretch. Paul waits at the plate, swings, doesn't get it. 0-2. When it's all said and done, however, his career batting average is 111. 7 years with the Pirates, then some time with the Cubs and the Braves. The strike 2 pitch punched foul outside of third. Almost took the heels up Lorenzo Bundy, the third base coach. Mahalam also, besides the 2 home runs, has 4 doubles over his long stretch. 0-2 the count. Uribe, who just knocked in the tying run at second base. The strike 2 pitch, roundhouse curveball inside. Bumgarner started that pitch almost near first base. Big rainbow. 1-2 to Paul Mahalam with Yasiel Puig on deck. Bumgarner slowing down the pace a little bit. The left-hander back, and he works it with a fastball high and away. 92 miles an hour. And his pitch count now has run up to 37. So Puig waits. He flied out in the first inning. 2 balls, 2 strikes. 2 down. Uribe at second. 1-1 tie. Bumgarner delivers, and he is low. 3-2. So Mahalam had some trouble. He walked 2. Now Bumgarner is on the edge. Bumgarner gave it a battle, an 8-pitch at bat against Mahalam, who's trying to return the favor. And the 3-2 pitch on the way, and Mahalam swings and misses. Down he goes. 3 strikeouts for Madison Bumgarner. However, the Dodgers get the run on Uribe's double and the walk to Van Slyke. And at the end of 2, a 1-1 tie. One tie between the Giants and the Dodgers. Of course, they've been wearing at each other for years, and even last year, the Dodgers and their pitching, they were 37-39, under 500 in the Western Division, but they really did the job in the Central and the East. The ERA improved dramatically, just about a run between the West and the other two, and as far as the batting average is concerned. That's the big reason. Remember, the Giants beat the Dodgers 11 of 18. Giants had a better record within the West, but did not have that kind of a record against the Central and East. Angel Pagan. I'll give you an interesting note about Angel. He is the first player ever to hit 2 home runs on his birthday. He swings, doesn't get it, and they count 1 ball, 1 strike. Angel's birthday is July the 2nd, and he hit 2 home runs on his birthday while he was playing for the Chicago Cubs. Pagan from Rio Pedras in Puerto Rico, originally drafted by the Mets. Now the 1-1 pitch. Angel takes low, ball 2, 2-1. Things were going smoothly for the Giants last year. The middle of May, they were leading the National League West by 2.5 games. You might forget that. Then they went 17-35. One reason, they lost Pagan. He takes low. Angel missed 82 games to a hamstring injury that was eventually used for surgery. When he played, they were 30 games above 500. Without him, they were 12 games under 500. And Pagan lashes one at third, hard hit, but down to his knee is Uribe, and then makes the play. So Pagan hits it hard, Uribe stays with it, and we have one away.
Hunter Pence.
Each pitcher trying to give the other a tough time at the plate. Remember, Bumgarner had an 8-pitch at bat against Mahalam, and Mahalam had 0-2 and had a 7-pitch at bat. Meanwhile, we have an out, and here's Hunter Pence. Pence probably lifts a high foul behind the plate. Doubtful. In fact, it's on the other side of the screen, and the count 0-1. So that'll give us a chance to talk a little bit about Hunter Pence. He usually has a slow month of April, and he's very slow right now. His career, he hit 261 in April, and then look out in May. In May, he hits 330, and in his career, he's hit 34 home runs. Swings, pops it foul off first. Gonzalez coming over, but no chance, into the Giant dugout. 0-2 the count. Certainly, Hunter Pence is one of the most consistent players in the game. Against left-handers, 287. Right-handers, 283. At home, 287. On the road, 281. And he hits a slow curveball on a line into left field. One bounce into the seats. So it's a double for Hunter Pence after grounding into a double play in the first inning. So Pence a long double. And just to conclude the consistency of Hunter Pence, with runners in scoring position, he hits 290. With runners in scoring position and 2 outs, he's hitting 287. So he is quite a player, Hunter Pence. So the batter now is Pablo Sandoval, who flied to left field in the first inning. 1-1 tie, top of the third. The Panda, as they call him up north, waiting at the plate, hitting right-handed. Mahalam works away, and you have 1 ball and no strikes. Sandoval backs out for the moment. Now Pablo back up to the plate. I've never seen him do it, but they say he can throw the ball as hard left-handed as right. He is truly ambidextrous. The 1-0 pitch on the way is instead a bluff by Mahalam to second base. You pay the price in this world, so Sandoval, superbly gifted and a switch hitter, so he has broken the hamate bone in both hands. Here's the 1-0 pitch on the way, and that almost hit him inside. 2 balls and no strikes. Sandoval, the MVP in the 2012 World Series. He hit a cool .500. He had 3 home runs against Detroit, 2 in the first game. And Pablo, among other glistening credentials, he hit for the cycle against Colorado in 2011 and probably bangs one in the air. Kemp on his horse and makes the catch. Pence goes to the bag, tags up, and alertly goes to third. So a nice running catch by Matt Kemp. not much he can do about Pence, who tagged and moved over to third easily. Matt Kemp able to read the ball coming off the bat. He can't wait for the crack of the bat. So he picks it off and Pence tags. I've told it before. Of course, come to think of it, I've told almost everything before. But when I was a little kid growing up in New York, I was sitting in the bleachers watching a Giant game. And I marveled at the fact I could hear the sound of the ball hit the bat after the ball left the infield. Well, Posey's going to pop it up. And a lunging catch. The breeze must have been playing tricks with Ramirez, but he made the catch. And anyway, I was told, yes, the speed of sound is faster than the speed of light, which means, in other words, you don't wait for the crack of the bat. And at the end of 2.5, a 1-1 tie. Performing tires that knock it out of the park. Goodyear, more driven. We have a good one going today. We're in the bottom of the third inning, a 1-1 tie, the battle of left-handers. Madison Bumgarner out of North Carolina against Paul Maholm out of Mississippi. Yasiel Puig followed by Justin Turner and then Hanley Ramirez. Puig hit a fly ball to left field in the first inning, 0 for 1. Hit a home run against Bumgarner last year. So Yasiel checking in. 1 run, 3 hits for the Giants. 1 run, 2 hits for the Dodgers. Bumgarner delivers slow curveball, but it stays up. Ball 1. That thing came up there at 74 miles an hour. Then Bumgarner can turn right around and throw 92. So the left-hander, both feet on the rubber, turns in the 1-0 pitch and works it at the knees for a strike. Nice and easy 88. So Madison Bumgarner and Paul Maholm. And remember, tomorrow at 5 o'clock, Matt Cain, and he'll be going up against Zach Greinke. Bumgarner comes back 1-1. Puig ground ball up the middle. Nice pick at shortstop by Crawford, but a wide throw at first base. Puig going in head first and now gets up. Puig shedding his helmet, and Crawford made a fine pick going way over to his left. So it'll be a base hit, I'm sure. And Puig a little shaken up, a little over hustle, going head first into the bag. They do it out of sheer enthusiasm, but it has been proven that if you break stride and do that, you actually are slower than if you had continued to run. But Puig, a belly whopper, that had to hurt a little bit, I'm sure. A for hustle, but then again was unnecessary as it turned out to be a wide throw. The Yasiel, a single to short. Dodgers' third hit, so the totals are identical. Here's Justin Turner now. Good play by Brandon. Looked like he was going to take away a base hit, but Puig runs well. Crawford knew it, made a desperate throw and couldn't get him. Yasiel Puig, with his left hand, it got late to the bag. The right hand went across the bag, and the left one kind of hit the bag. That might have shaken him up more than anything else. Oh, and 1 the count to Justin. We have a 1-1 tie, third inning. Puig held on by Brandon Belt. Turner's been a pro since 2006 and spent a lot of time in the Mets organization going up and down. He takes in the dirt. Nice save by Posey. Justin learned to know where Buffalo is. He kept going back and forth from Buffalo back to the Mets. He even played in Brooklyn for the minor league Brooklyn club. He played in Binghamton as well. Last year he was very busy. That's a strike to him, and the count 1-2. Turner last year was in New York, then the New York Penn League at Brooklyn. Then he went to Binghamton, and then he went to St. Lucie in the Florida State League, all in 1 year. So Puig held on by Belt, nobody out, third inning, 1-1 tie. Holds up on a breaking ball. They check. No swing, says Marty Foster. Cowboy Joe West behind the plate. He's the only umpire I know of who has had a DVD singing Western songs. 2-2 the count to Justin Turner. 2-2 pitch coming up. Turner swings, goes right through it for strike 3. That would be the 4th strikeout for Madison Bumgarner.
Shortstop, Hanley Ramirez.
And the batter with 1 out, Hanley Ramirez, hit a line drive, a hopper that jumped up into the seats in the left field corner for a ground rule double. So Hanley coming up, Puig at first, 1 out. Bumgarner, who was so tough on the Dodgers last year, the earned run average against the Dodgers was 1.9. Well, he's allowed 1 run so far today. Ramirez doubled with 2 out in the first inning, but then Gonzalez struck out. So Hanley waiting. Bumgarner goes to first. So Puig held on. Hanley Ramirez, coming into the game, was hitting just 176, 3 for 17 against Bumgarner. Now he's 4 for 18 with the double. The pitch is a ground foul outside of third. Sandoval scoops it up and flips it into the stands. 0-1 the count. We had over 53,000 here yesterday. 53,493. Not quite that many, but it's another wonderful crowd on a beautiful Saturday afternoon. Hope things are going well wherever you are, and if not, hope this will take your mind off it. 0-1 to Hanley. Bumgarner ready. There goes the runner, and the pitch is popped foul behind the plate into the crowd. Late start by Posey. Didn't make any difference. So Puig goes back to first. 0-2 the count to Hanley Ramirez. So Puig has good running speed. It's a question of knowledge as far as the moves, and Bumgarner has a pretty good move now, despite that 1 year where he gave up those 27 stolen bases. Puig stole 8 bases and make it 11 last year. strike 2 pitch coming up, and that backs Ramirez away, and it's in there for a strike 3 call. Hanley can't believe it. Don Mattingly shakes his head. Hanley continues to talk to Joe West. And now they separate. So Ramirez called out on a tight fastball. 5 strikeouts for Bumgarner. Puig pulled his hands back, or it should be Ramirez, while Puig watched. And it's called a strike, which is all that counts. So 2 consecutive strikeouts, and 3 of the last 4 Dodgers have struck out. Ramirez back to the dugout. Adrian Gonzalez struck out in the first inning. So Bumgarner has struck out 5. Gonzalez struck out in the first inning. Bumgarner looks at Puig, now to the plate, breaking ball low. Giants feel that Puig might very well try to go with 2 out. I mean, if you get him, then you start the next inning with your cleanup hitter. Bochy, meanwhile, giving signs to Posey, the infield watching. Hicks is on the rim. Crawford way over to his left to fill up the middle. Throw to first. If you look at the infield, you would figure that they're going to pitch Adrian Gonzalez away. And when you look in the outfield, the big gap is in right center. So everything looks like they're going to try and go away, but we will see. Adrian waiting on a 1-ball, no strike count. They picked off Puig. And running with the ball is Belt. Here comes Crawford, faking, throws to first in time. Brandon Hicks makes the tag on Puig. So that was the thought. You're going to run Puig somehow, and you start the inning with Gonzalez, and instead of running, Puig is picked off. So at the end of 3, it remains a 1-1 tie. Dodger Baseball on Sportsnet LA is brought to you by the Ram 1500, Motor Trend's 2014 Truck of the Year, and first ever back-to-back champion. 4th inning here at Dodger Stadium, a 1-1 tie, 1 run, 3 hits. Yasiel Puig, as usual, in the limelight. A head-first slide to first base for an infield single. And then in what appeared to be a steal situation, he was picked off by Bumgarner. So we go to the 4th inning. High fly ball off the bat of Michael Morse, and this one is going to go into the pavilion halfway up. So Morse, who hit as many as 31 home runs back in 2011 for the Washington Nationals, does what the Giants want him to do. He goes deep. So Morse walked and scored a run. Now hits a home run. And just like that, the Giants are back out in front, 2-1. Breaking ball. Morse is a big man, 6'5" and a good 230. And he brings a lot of power up there. Hit it almost 3/4 of the way up the pavilion. So the fly to Plantation, Florida. Hits one out, his first of the year. There's a shot hit down the right field line, but this one is hooking foul. So Brandon Belt, who certainly can live up to his name, single to center in the second inning. So Morse gets the Giants back out in front. He has scored twice on a walk and then the home run. Mahalam ready and delivers, and that's inside under the hands. 1 ball, 1 strike. Boy, the Cincinnati Reds are really hurting because of the bullpen, and 2 very important characters are missing. 1-1 pitch, ball 2. The Reds have lost for a while Jonathan Broxton, you certainly remember Jonathan, and Aroldis Chapman. And the game got into the bottom of the 9th inning, and Ike Davis of the New York Mets came up with the bases loaded and promptly hit a walk-off grand slam home run for the Mets. Cincinnati now 1-4, using Hoover the closer, although they say Broxton will return as the closer next week. And a ground ball back at first, playable. Up with it is Gonzalez, takes it to the bag, and Belt is retired. 1 away here in the 4th inning.
Second baseman Brandon Hicks.
One of the big blows that Cincinnati suffered was that line drive that struck Aroldis Chapman in the head. Well, Paul Mahalam can tell you all about that. It was way back in 2004. Paul was pitching at single A, though really that would be his 2nd year as a professional. Ground ball to third. Hicks hits it. Uribe throws him out, and we have 2 down. Anyway, Mahalam was hit in the head by a line drive back in 2004. It is a very dangerous spot out there. Not only are you closest to home plate as far as the defense is concerned, but you're also in motion, following through, sometimes falling off the mound. Rarely are you in a position to field the ball, although that's one of the first things you learn in your follow through. But a lot of them pay the price. So 2 down, and Brandon Crawford. Change curveball, drops in for a strike. That was 63 miles an hour. Shades of Vicente Padilla and the soap bubble, remember? Crawford hit into a force play in the 2nd inning. Swings at the next one, fouls it off. So Brandon finds himself in a hole. No balls and 2 strikes. Crawford, a marvelous glove man who has had trouble coming up with base hits. Michael Morse wandering around in the dugout as Crawford waits, and Bumgarner out on deck. 0-2 pitch to Brandon off the plate. Greinke and Kane tomorrow at 5. This game 2 of the 3-game series. Later on this year, there'll be a 4-game series with the Giants and Dodgers. They're going to check. No swing, says Alan Porter. Two and two. Brandon has his name on a brick. Yeah, on a brick. 2-2 pitches high. When they were building AT&T Park, they were selling bricks, and you could have your name put on the brick and it would be installed in the wall. And Brandon Crawford's mom and dad bought the brick, put his name on it, and it's at AT&T for all the world to see. 3-2, a shot off the body of Mahalam. He picks it up, throws to first in time for the out. So a hot comebacker. Crawford is nailed. 1 run, 1 hit by Michael Morse. And at the end of 3.5, 2-1, Giants. 2-1 in favor of the Giants. Bottom of the fourth inning. Puig picked off to close the third. So Gonzalez, who was left at the plate, will start it off. He'll be followed by Matt Kemp and then Scott Van Slyke. Two runs, 4 hits for San Francisco. 1 run, 3 hits for the Dodgers. Gonzalez struck out first inning. Bumgarner has 5 strikeouts. And foul back, 0-1 to count. Interesting to not only look at the defense, they do not have the shift on with Gonzalez. Standard operational procedure. He drives one to the gap in left center, and that's going to go to the wall. Adrian on his way for 2. Morse gets the ball back into third. And the Dodgers now have the tying run at second base with nobody out. So Adrian goes the other way.
Now batting number 27.
Fourth hit for the Dodgers. The pitch was away, and Adrian got a fastball away and doubled. What they're doing to him, they put the shift on a lot and pitch him away. They didn't have the shift on and they pitched him away. And this time he got a fastball instead of a breaking ball down and doubled. So the tying run is out there, nobody out. Kemp, Van Slyke, and Uribe trying to pick him up. Bumgarner, who had 22 quality starts last year, works a pitch up and in to Kemp for ball 1. In other words, he went at least 6 innings and allowed 3 runs or less. 71% of the time he turned in a quality start. Didn't get much run support. He had 4 tough losses. The next pitch, little cutter, and it missed. 2-0 the count. Kemp struck out in the second inning. Outfield plays Matt straight away. The infield, well, among other things, Crawford on the rim at shortstop. And Uribe idle. Pablo Sandoval is deep at third. Fastball fouled off, and that got a little bit of Matt. 2-1 the count. Another thing about Bumgarner, he was not particularly hurt by home runs. That got the instep of Matt's foot. So that had to hurt. And Bumgarner is pretty much of a workhorse. Last year he averaged 6.5 innings per start and averaged 103 pitches. Well, coming into this inning, he had made 51. 2-1 Giants, fourth inning. Gonzalez tying run at second, nobody out. Foul ball, 2-2 the count. Matt Kemp, in the past, came into the game hitting .211 against Bumgarner. 1 home run. Bumgarner had 199 strikeouts last year, 163 of them swinging. He can put you away easily. The 2-2 pitch coming up. Yep. So down goes Kemp. That would be the 6th strikeout for Bumgarner. And the batter will be Scott Van Slyke.
Number 33, Scott Van Slyke.
Van Slyke walked and came around to score a run in the second inning. One of the things that Bumgarner made almost a habit last year was getting ahead of the hitter 0-2. So he has 1 down. Gonzalez at second. Off speed pitch, a strike. Change coming up at 82. 0-1 the count. Michael Morse, the difference in the game right now. The left fielder hit a home run in the 4th inning to break a 1-1 tie, and it's 2-1. And that's pop foul, no play. It'll go back into the stands. 0-2 the count. Light breeze picking up now, blowing towards right field. Just a zephyr. Prevailing breeze here is left to right. However, it gets into the park, swirls around, but the flag's all the way atop. That's the normal breeze out towards right field. No balls and 2 strikes. Fastball in on the hands. So Bumgarner now has 7 strikeouts, and he has struck out 4 of the last 5, 5 of the last 6. So 7 strikeouts, and with 2 down, the batter Juan Uribe. Mahalam struck out to end the second. Turner and Ramirez went down in the third, and Kemp and Van Slyke here in the fourth. So Uribe trying to pick up that tying run. Remember, we gave you a note a little while ago. The big difference between the 2 teams in this series is what they have done with runners in scoring position. The Giants have done very well. The Dodgers have not done well at all. So Boschi's club leading 2-1 game 2, and Mattingly spinning his wheels down there in the dugout. Uribe holding up. 1 ball and 1 strike. Doubled in the second inning. Dodgers have 3 doubles by Ramirez, Uribe, and Gonzalez. With runners in scoring position today, the Dodgers are 0 for 5 with 4 strikeouts. That's a strike. 1-2 the count. And for the series, where the Giants are 7 for 12, the Dodgers are only 3 for 19. Bumgarner running that fastball in about letter high. 1-2 the count. Uribe questioning Joe West, as several Dodgers, including Hanley Ramirez. 1 ball and 2 strikes. Sprayed foul off to the right upstairs. Still 1-2. Giants got a run on a walk and a couple of base hits and a force play. Dodgers got it back on a walk to Van Slyke and a double by Uribe. And then Michael Morris homered in the 4th inning, and that's it. 2-1 Giants in the dirt. Nice block by Posey. Gonzalez nowhere to go. Madison Bumgarner won 13 last year, 3-1 against the Dodgers, 8-3 lifetime. He was an all-star, and well should he be. He was 2-1 here at Dodger Stadium, and the Dodgers did not score 2 runs per 9 innings against him. That's down and dirty. Another check, no swing. 3-2 the count to Uribe, and A.J. Ellis on deck. Just inside, and Uribe fighting himself, held back. Posey pointing to first base and got the answer, no swing. 3-2. 1 walk, 7 strikeouts for Madison Bumgarner. Looked like he took a lot off that. It was only 78 miles an hour. Uribe looking for a 3-2 fastball is badly fooled. Bumgarner strikes out the side. He now has 8. Dodgers leave another, and it's still 2-1 Giants. Top of the 5th inning, 2-1 Giants. They were introducing the Dodger Stadium movie series following Dodger home games April 26th, May 31st, August 16th. Fans can enjoy the game and a baseball-themed movie. For complete details and information, be sure to visit Dodgers.com/movies today. Field of Dreams, League of Their Own, and The Natural. Well, for Mahalam, he has seen the Dodgers really frustrated for him offensively. And his first pitch to Bumgarner in for a strike, 0-1. Bumgarner had a good at-bat, battled Mahalam an 8-pitch at-bat before striking out. Mahalam had a 7-pitch at-bat before he struck out. Off-speed pitch and a 1-ball, 1-strike count. He used to have an old expression, you never change up on a pitcher unless he's a good hitter. Well, Mahalam just changed up. 1 ball, 1 strike, and it's promptly banged down the line, foul. 1-2. Dodgers play the Giants here at 5. Kane against Greinke, Monday an off day, and Detroit will be here Tuesday and Wednesday. Dodgers will have their hands full with the Tigers, and there's Bumgarner with a base hit. So now you know why Mahalam changed up. Bumgarner, not a bad hitter, and pushes one into right field for a base hit.
Angel Pagan.
So Angel Pagan coming up. 5 hits for the Giants. They lead 2-1. Talking about Detroit, the Dodgers will miss Verlander. He goes against Baltimore tomorrow. But the Tigers, off to a great start under Brad Ausmus, are 4-0. And the Dodgers will see Max Scherzer and then Anibal Sanchez. That'll be Tuesday and Wednesday. There's a soft one-hopper into right field. And just like that now, Mahalam is in trouble. First and second.
Number 8.
And the batter will be Hunter Pence. So Bumgarner singles to right, Pagan singles to left, and the batter Hunter Pence. Dodgers frustrating themselves, and now the Giants trying to take advantage of it. By the way, in talking about Detroit, you wonder about Miguel Cabrera, who had been the 3rd baseman, now the 1st baseman. Same old Cabrera. Right now he's hitting .375. That'll be Tuesday. Ball 1 to Pence, grounded into a double play and doubled. Mahalam has allowed 2 runs, 6 hits. Dodger bullpen will be moving around behind him. He's made 70 pitches. 2-0 the count. So Paul, who hadn't pitched at all, has done remarkably well. But here a flare single to right by Bumgarner and a little soft line drive. The line drive only talking about the trajectory. It was not hit hard. Young Jose Dominguez, who came in yesterday and pitched so well. Remember the bullpen yesterday? Remarkable. Dominguez came in the 3rd inning yesterday, worked 2 innings, retired 6 in a row and struck out 3. But Mahalam trying to do it himself. 2 on, nobody out. Paul looking for his trademark. That's the double play ball. He got that in the 1st inning. And he's low now. 3-0 the count to Hunter Pence. Sandoval waiting on deck, and Mahalam getting deeper into a hole. Bumgarner, the pitcher who struck out in the 2nd inning, single to right. Pagan, who always is a pest to the Dodgers, single to left. And here's Pence. 3-0 to Hunter. Down the pipe, 3-1. So Hunter Pence, tough man. He had 27 home runs, 99 runs batted in last year. 2 on, nobody out. 3-1 pitch. 3-2. In 629 at bats, official at bats, Hunter Pence struck out 115 times, and he has Pablo Sandoval hitting back of him. So 3-2, nobody out. Runners at first and second. Runners hold. Pitch is swung on and fouled at the plate, so Pence is still there. Hunter back up and waiting with 99 RBIs. He had a 7 RBI game. He had a 6 RBI game and 3 5 RBI games. Hits a high fly ball coming over his Van Slyke, sets for the catch, and the runners hold. So Hunter Pence fly ball to left, 1 out, and now Pablo Sandoval coming up. So Pence went 3-0, then full and flied out. Sandoval, Posey, and Crawford are the only ones without a hit. Dominguez continues to warm up. Mahala, meanwhile, working on Sandoval, batting right-handed. Sandoval coming into the game was 2 for 4 left, and he had not had any at-bats as a right-hand batter, and he is 0 for 2. Takes a pitch inside. 1 ball and no strikes. Giants lead 2-1, trying to add to it with 1 out. So first inside, then away. 2-0 the count. Mahalan, remember, went 3-0 to Pence and finally got him. Sandoval, who lost about 30 pounds during the offseason, hits a ground foul. First time we saw him in spring training, we thought, wow, that's a different looking guy. And we checked. We saw that they have him listed at 240. I think he was up to 260 at least last year. So if he lost 30, he's probably closer to 230 right about now. He trained in Venezuela with the same trainer who kept Bobby Abreu in the major leagues. He hits a fly ball deep. Van Slyke going back, watching this one clear the scoreboard. A 3-run home run for the slim down Pablo Sandoval, and the Giants lead 5-1. Scoring ahead of him, Bumgarner and Pagan. So for Paul Mahalan, he gave it a good shot for 4. A rarely pitched guy this spring. Then in the 5th inning, first the flare single by Bumgarner, and almost another flare by Pagan, and now the fly ball home run by Sandoval. So 5-1 San Francisco. Mattingly will now have to rely on young Jose Dominguez, who pitched so well yesterday. They'll bring him right back. And with that, we'll be back. was the fact that his undoing with 3 balls that were not what you call line drive base hits. Bumgarner pushed a fly ball single to right. Pagan hit it, really a soft, straight ball into left. Line drive only for the trajectory. And even Sandoval's home run was a long fly ball. And Van Slyke went back as if he had a play, but it cleared. So soft or hard, it's 5-1 in favor of San Francisco. Mahala made 80 pitches, and young Jose Dominguez coming in. Dominguez, 23 years old, from the Dominican Republic. He led the charge of the bullpen yesterday. The bullpen yesterday for the Dodgers went 7 innings, allowed 1 walk, nothing else, struck out 10. And the Giants against the Dodger bullpen yesterday were 0 for 20. But that's yesterday. They're chatting. Sandoval is smiling, and it's 5-1 San Fran. And here's Buster Posey to face Dominguez. And first pitch, ball 1. In his 2 innings yesterday, Dominguez struck out Pence, Posey, and Belt. Posey pops it in the air, foul. That should carry well back in the stands, and does. Buster robbed of a hit by Uribe and made a perfect throw in the 2nd inning and popped up in the 3rd. Five runs, 7 hits for the Giants. They have a double and 2 home runs. Dodgers 1 run, 4 hits. Fastball in the dirt, 2-1. At Chattanooga last year, young Jose Dominguez, getting ready to face people like Posey, struck out 28 in 17 innings. And that's a little low, ball 3. 3-1 to Buster. 2-time All-Star, 4 opening days. Hitting behind him, Michael Morse. Posey had a great spring. He hit almost 370. And he drives a fly ball deep to left. That one's got a chance and is gone. And just like that, it is 6-1. San Francisco, as Posey is welcome to the club. That's the 3rd home run hit by the Giants today. Morse, Sandoval, and Posey. So Dominguez is welcomed. Giants breezing for the moment, 6-1, and Michael Morse coming up. So Mahalan gives up 5, a pitch right down the middle, and Posey was not about to let that one go by. So now the batter Morse walked and homered and takes a strike. 0-1. Morse, his hit home run, really clubbed it 3/4 of the way up the pavilion in left center. That was leading off the 4th inning. Remember last year, maybe you don't want to remember, but the Giants beat the Dodgers here 19-3. In June last year, the Giant team hit 9 home runs against the Dodgers. 3 they have today. Fouled away, out of play. And of course, the Giant team last year finished 10 games under 500. This team is trying to win it today and go 5-1. Dodgers lose, they'll be 4-3. No balls, 2 strikes. Foul back. That was clocked at 98. It doesn't make any difference if it doesn't move. Big league hitters take care of it. Here's the strike 2 pitch, and that's very high. 1-2 the count. In talking about June of last year, we want to make sure Giants hit 9, 3 against the Dodgers, and the other 6 against everybody else. 1 ball and 2 strikes. Whoa. And that was at 96 miles an hour. So Michael Morse got out from under his helmet. That'll take a minute till he gets back up there. 2 balls and 2 strikes. That'll drive you to your knees. Of course, with 31 home runs one year, I'm sure he's been brushed back a few times. And down he goes. That's the second out. First strikeout for Dominguez, and the batter will be Brandon Belt. Brandon Belt singled to center. That set up a run in the second inning. Last time up, grounded out to Adrian Gonzalez. Belt had a great spring, and he's carrying it on. He's hit safely in 5 of 6. 0-1 to count. Belt got his name into the books with some very popular Giants of the past when he homered in 3 of his first 4 games. He joined Barry Bonds, who did it in 2002, Kevin Mitchell in 1991, and the great Willie Mays, who did it 3 times, 1962, 64, and 71. So he's in good company. 0-2. So Dominguez comes in, gives up a home run, then strikes out Morse and Belt. Small consolation to the Dodgers because Sandoval hit a 3-run dinger, and the Giants lead 6-1. Aerial coverage provided by Goodyear with superior performing tires that knock it out of the park. Goodyear, more driven. Giants leading handily 6-1. We go to the bottom of this inning, and the Dodgers will have A.J. Ellis. Sean Figgins is on deck. He would bat for Dominguez. Paco Rodriguez in the pen. And then it would be the leadoff man, Yasiel Puig. So Madison Bumgarner pitching nice and easy, flips it up there at 88. 1 ball and no strikes. Sean Figgins on deck, so Dominguez will work 1 inning. By the way, on that fastball up and in, well, it's popped up to the right side. It will be Hoon. It will be the first baseman, Brandon Belt. Wind played that tough, and Brandon made a good play, 1 away. Morse, in going down on that pitch up and in, might have hurt himself. That's just a guess. Juan Perez has taken over in left field for Morse.
Hitting number 18.
So here is Sean Figgins coming up. Dodgers trying to get something started. Bumgarner in a very comfortable zone. He has struck out 8. He has walked only 1, and that walk scored. Figgins waiting. And the first pitch. Ball 1. Sean Figgins, who spent 2 years ago 2 years with the Mariners, did not play last year. As he said, it was just a lost year in Seattle, and he wanted to get over it, fighting to make the Dodger squad, which he did. That's a strike. 1 ball and 1 strike. Sean doesn't give you much of a strike zone. He's 5'8", about 180. Been a pro since 1997 and was with the Angels from 03 through 07. 2-1. Having spent so much time in the American League, Figgins has never faced Madison Bumgarner. 2 balls, 1 strike. 2-2. As we told you, Bumgarner last year, 199 strikeouts in 201 innings. Throws so nice and easy and hits 92 on the gun. Figgins talking to Joe West. One out, 5th inning, 6-1 Giants. Little foul off first, out of play. Waiting on deck, Yasiel Puig. Giants got a run in the 2nd inning. Dodgers came back with a run of their own in the bottom of the 2nd inning. Morse homered in the 4th to make it 2-1 Giants. Sandoval hit a 3-run home run to make it 5-1 Giants. And Posey hit a home run to make it 6-1. That's off the plate. Though Figgins goes all the way in the count. Bumgarner walked Van Slyke, his only walk in 4 innings. And fouled away. Last night in a ball game in Miami, Giancarlo Stanton, a local boy here, a kid with unusual power, and he hit a home run against Eric Stultz, 484 feet. Even the Padres hitters were talking about it. Ground ball, charging it is Crawford, and that'll do it for Figgins. So 2 down here in the 5th inning, and Yasiel Puig coming up.
Now batting, number 66, Yasiel Puig.
Puig flied to left in the 1st inning, singled to short in the 3rd, went head first into the bag at first, and then in what appeared to be a steal situation, 2 out, and Gonzalez at the plate. Puig was picked off, committing too early, and could not get back. Bumgarner, as we mentioned earlier during that sequence, allowed 8 stolen bases last year and nailed 7. Fastball high, ball 1. You have to think, especially if you've been around this game long enough, that pitch that knocked Michael Morse to his knees. Somewhere along the line, you think about coming back. So we'll see. That was fastball high, but not intimidating. And a high fly ball. Here comes the center fielder, Pagan. That'll do it for Puig and for the Dodgers. They go quietly at the end of 5, 6-1, San Francisco. In 2000, Dave Hansen came off the Dodger bench against Montreal and had a pinch hit 3-run home run. Dodgers lost the game anyway, but that was the first of 7 pinch hit home runs hit by Dave Hansen. That broke a record held at 6 by Johnny Fredericks way back with the Brooklyn Dodgers. And by the way, Dave Hansen is now the hitting coach for the Angels after Don Baylor was injured the other night. And with that, let's return to this one. 6-1 in favor of San Francisco. Paco Rodriguez now in his 5th game, picking up after they batted for Dominguez. And Paco will start with Brandon Hicks. Giants have hit 3 home runs today. The big one, Sandoval, with 2 men aboard. Leading handily. Bumgarner is breezing, has made 80 pitches in 5 innings. And Paco misses ball 1. Brandon Hicks single to left, grounded to third. His single sent Belt over to third, so that when Brandon Crawford hit into a force play in the 2nd inning, the run scored. 1 ball and 1 strike. Numbers don't really mean much unless you interpret them. Both Mahalem and Bumgarner made 80 pitches. Mahalem is gone, and Bumgarner is sitting on that 6-1 lead. Two and 1 to count. Brandon with a single to left, grounded to third, 1 for 2. A parade of Brandons. Brandon Belt, Brandon Hicks, Brandon Crawford. 2 and 1. 2 and 2. Tomorrow night at 5, Matt Cain and Zach Greinke. Matt cooling off, wearing the shades. 2 and 2. On the outside corner, strike 3 called. So 3 consecutive strikeouts for Dodger pitching. Dominguez, after the home run by Posey, struck out Morse and Belt, and now Hicks goes down on strikes, and we have 1 away. Brandon Crawford, 0 for 2. Last year, remember, he was 5 for 51. You have to go back to Greg Olson in the 90s with Atlanta for the Dodgers to dominate a hitter that way. Brandon, excellent defensive player. Had a tough year with the bat, but they still think he can do the job in the big leagues. Certainly with the glove, there's no doubt about that. One ball and 1 strike. Paco Rodriguez, who had a tremendous year last year until September, where they think he might have just run out of gas. 1 ball and 1 strike. That missed inside, ball 2. Brandon Crawford, his very first hit in the major leagues was against the Milwaukee Brewers. That would be back in 2011. It was a grand slam home run. Nice way to break in. Went to school at UCLA. And ball 3. Crawford was very consistent. He hit .248 in 2012 and .248 2013, and Bumgarner on deck hitting back of him. 3-1. Half swing for a strike. 3-2. One thing about Brandon Crawford, it's very easy for his parents to watch him play. His mom and dad have been season ticket holders for the Giants since the Candlestick days, before Brandon was even born. 3-2. Foul back. Brandon was 15. And watch game 6. Dreading it in the World Series. And a little low, ball 4. So Crawford wins that battle. Draws the walk. Third walk given up to the Giants today. Pagan, Morse, and now Brandon. And here's Bumgarner, who had that tough at bat in the second inning. It was an 8-pitch at bat. He really battled Mahalam. And then in the 5th inning, Bumgarner fisted one into right field for a base hit. And that was the beginning of the end for Mahalam, because then Pagan got a base hit and Sandoval hit a 3-run home run. 0-1 the count to Madison Bumgarner. Six runs, 8 hits for the Giants, including 3 home runs and a double. Dodgers 1 run, 4 hits. They have 3 doubles, and they have left all 3 men at second base. Oh, and 1. Bumgarner shows bunt, takes low. 1 ball and 1 strike. Bruce Bochy, born in France. His dad a staff sergeant in the Army. 8th year with the Giants. 19 consecutive years as a big league manager. And a very nice guy. One and one the count to Bumgarner. Paco trying to keep an eye on Crawford and get Bumgarner at the same time. When the Dodgers come up in the bottom of this 6th inning, they'll have Turner, Ramirez, and Gonzalez. So if nothing else, they're trying to wear out Crawford at first. Dodger fans a little bored right now, so when you are bored, here comes the wave. Yep, they brought that back, and it's working its way around into left field now. There she goes. 1 ball and 1 strike. Bumgarner showing bunt and drops it nicely. Adrian picks it up. The only play is to first to Justin Turner. Sacrifice works. Giants have a runner at second with 2 out. And Angel Pagan coming up. Bumgarner does his job. Angel Pagan walked in the first inning, grounded to third in the third, single to left. He was aboard when Sandoval lowered the boom in the 5th inning. So Pagan batting .400. Giants are so much a better club when he's in the lineup. We talked about that earlier in the game. When he was playing, the Giants were 30 games above .500. When he missed, they were 12 games under .500. Big difference. High foul ball over to look, and that's about all is Gonzalez. No balls, 1 strike. Giants trying to have a record of 5-1, and the Dodgers, who started out well enough, losing today, would then have a record of 4-3. And 1 tomorrow. Matt Cain, Zach Greinke, 5 o'clock. Bumgarner sitting back. He's done his job. He's had a single and a good sacrifice. One ball and 1 strike to Angel Pagan. Last year hit .282 in 71 games. 5 home runs, 30 RBIs. One ball and 1 strike. And that's in for a strike. 1-2 the count to Pagan. Bumgarner, pretty handy guy with the bat. Remember we told you when Mahalam changed up on him, that old expression, you never throw a change up to a pitcher unless he's a pretty good hitter. Well, he has 2 home runs, 32 hits, 29 sacrifices, so he can handle a bat. That's going to be lined down the line. Base hit. Puig trying to cut it off. The run is in. Puig in foul ground to make a strong throw, but into second base goes Pagan, and the Giants now lead 7-1, and the sacrifice by Bumgarner is paid off.
Number 8, Hunter Pence.
So a double to right, and the run is in. Crawford scores 7 runs, 9 hits for the Giants, 1 run, 4 hits for the Dodgers. Giants won 11 of the 19 meetings last year. They split 10 here, but they have the jump on the Dodgers now if they go 2-0. Hunter Pence grounded into a double play. It was started a nice diving stop by Hanley Ramirez. Pence doubled in the 3rd inning, fly to left in the 5th. One ball, no strike. Hard foul ball outside of third. He was all over that thing. Giants leading handily now, 7-1 here in the 6th inning. 1 ball, 1 strike. Way outside. 2-1 the count. In the Dodger bullpen, Dodgers tune up Chris Perez. Yesterday, the pen used Dominguez, League, Withrow, and Wright. 2 balls, 1 strike. And that's lifted into shallow right. A trio of Dodgers, and it will be the right fielder, Puig. So the Giants pick up another run and a walk and a double, leave one. Bumgarner ready to go back to work, leading 7-1. Giants and the Dodgers rolling around Dodger Stadium, and the Giants are on top 7-1. Bottom of the 6th inning. Turner, Ramirez, Gonzalez against the left-hander Madison Bumgarner. Bumgarner pretty much has a reputation as a ground ball pitcher. That is to say, about 58% of ground balls in 2011. Almost 60% in 2012, and again almost 59% last year. Today, what's interesting, 1 ground ball, and that was by Figgins as a pinch hitter. He has struck out 8, and he has allowed 4 hits, 1 run, and 5 fly ball outs. Low and away, 1 ball and 1 strike. For the Dodgers, a very, very frustrating series. Now, they got away with it in San Diego. Remember, they hit 185 and won 2 out of 3. But they can't do that with the Giants. With runners in scoring position, the Giants are 9 for 16. Dodgers 3 for 20. And since Crawford can't make the play, Turner is aboard. It will go as a single. Slow roller to shortstop. So Justin 1 for 3. Big chopper, but it kind of died. Crawford trying to pick and had it get away. So for the Dodgers, they have a hit in every inning, but nothing to show for it. And the batter, Hanley Ramirez. Ramirez doubled in the 1st inning. He blistered the ball down into the left field corner, bounced up into the seats. But then last time up, called out on strikes. Giants today scored a run in the 2nd inning with 1 out. They had a leadoff home run by Morse, and they had a 3-run home run with 1 out in the 5th, as opposed to yesterday when they scored 8 all after 2 are outs. That's a strike. 1-1 to Hanley Ramirez. The run scored in the 6th inning came on a 2-out double. One and two. The only Dodger run occurred way back in the 2nd inning. The Giants were leading 1-0. Scott Van Slyke walked, and Juan Uribe doubled him home. That's it. So Van Slyke just has to wait a while till he gets another turn at the plate. 1-2 the count to Hanley Ramirez. Two and two. Dodger strikeouts today. Turner has struck out. So has Ramirez, Gonzalez, Kemp twice, Van Slyke, Uribe, and Mahalam back in the 2nd inning. So Bumgarner has pretty well gone through the lineup and burned them with 8 strikeouts. And there's another. So Ramirez strikes out a 2nd time. 9 strikeouts for Bumgarner. Well, there's nothing bum about him, although they do cut his name down as a nickname. You can well imagine that. He just slides him in there, just at the knees. So with 9 strikeouts and 1 walk, Bumgarner is certainly in control. And here's Gonzalez, who struck out and doubled. His double led off the 4th inning, and the Dodgers left him. And that really points up one of their problems. Dodgers today 0 for 6 with runners in scoring position, and of the 0 for 6, 5 were strikeouts. Really magnified in the 4th inning when Gonzalez opened with a double, and Kemp, Van Slyke, and Uribe all struck out. Little roller, the play is to Bumgarner. So Gonzalez taps out, Turner advances to 2nd, and the batter will be Matt Kemp.
Number 27, Matt Kemp.
So the Dodgers have a runner in scoring position. They are 3 for 20, and we'll see what Kemp can do with 2 outs. Matt struck out in the 2nd, struck out in the 4th, made his start yesterday in opening day, and struck out, did have 1 hit. Giants 7, Dodgers 1. And ball 1. For Bumgarner, he's now made 91 pitches, and he's in the 6th inning. One and one. Dodgers yesterday scored 4. That was not enough. The Giants had 8. Now they have a tougher mountain to climb. They're down by 6. Turner at 2nd base, 2 out. Time. Reminder again, 5 o'clock tomorrow. Matt Cain, Zach Greinke, game on ESPN. We'll be back Tuesday with Detroit. Great to see Brad Ausmus. Wonderful guy on the ball club. I think of all the players, that's a strike. From the time that Brad Ausmus started to catch for Houston, everybody kept saying he's a natural to be a manager, and it's finally happened. So Ausmus and the Tigers. It's 7-1 favor the Giants. The Tigers, as of today, 4-0, and Bumgarner wants to talk to Posey. Brad Ausmus will be here Tuesday. He's from Connecticut. He had a wonderful career. He was a professional starting in 1988. And he played with the Dodgers through 2010. Off speed, a hopper, smothered by Sandoval, who makes the play. Boy, I'll tell you, losing 30 pounds has really helped him. Quick to dive, make the stop, and make the play. And the Dodgers lead Turner at the end of 6. It's still 7-1 Giants as we take another look. Losing 7-1 in the series with runners in scoring position. Remember, they just left Turner at second base. They are 3 for 21 and thereby hangs the tail. They go to the bullpen and Chris Perez will come in. So it's been Mahalam, Dominguez for an inning, Rodriguez for an inning, and now Chris. The veteran closer who built up a great reputation with Cleveland. He had as many as 36 saves, 39 saves, 25. Right now, anything but a save. It's a chance to get in some work. Pablo Sandoval, who has sparkled with the glove and with the bat, a 3-run home run today. Sandoval, switch hitter, now batting left-handed. 2-0. Sandoval, Posey, and then the left fielder, Perez, finishing up for Michael Morse. Two and 0 now, 3-0. Pablo, if you're up close, has a scar just above the cheekbone and under the left eye. He was just a year and a half or thereabouts, a toddler. He had a plastic bat, and he decided it would be kind of fun to hit the family pet. It was a Doberman. The dog bit him. Family had to get rid of the dog. That's fouled away, out of play. Pablo Sandoval kind of put the game on ice in the 5th inning, came up with 2 men on and was strong enough to muscle that one just over the wall in left field. That was an inning where the balls were not hit hard, but didn't make any difference. A flare to right, soft one to left, and then the fly ball home run. Now he draws a walk.
Catcher.
So Buster Posey coming up. He was robbed of a hit by Uribe, who made a good play from the line. Popped to short, and then Posey hit a home run in the 5th inning. So Chris Perez, the Floridian, born in Bradenton, lives in Holmes Beach, working on Posey. Had a great spring, and he's off and running, hitting .368. Strike. Remember the story on Buster? You know, he was a shortstop in college, and his coach thought he had such tremendous qualities, character of leadership, he made him a catcher. That's pretty hard to do when you have an all-star catcher, All-American. But he went behind the plate, and here he is in the big leagues and doing tremendously well. Buster Posey. That's a strike. On deck, Juan Perez. Perez is from the Bronx in New York, but he went to Western Oklahoma State Junior College. That's a trick to come from the Bronx. Ball into left field for a base hit. The throw to second base not in time because for a moment looked like it might be caught. So Posey, a flare single to left. Down to second goes Sandoval, and Perez is in a jam. Well, the Giants now 7 runs on 10 hits. The Dodgers 1 run, 5 hits.
Number 2,
and here is young Juan Perez. He was born in November of 1988. 13th round pick by the Giants. Moved to the Bronx from the Dominican Republic. And a strike. So Chris Perez working on Juan Perez. Chris from Florida and Juan from the Dominican and the Bronx. 0-1. Good breaking ball. 0-2 the count. Juan Perez played in a Spanish league in New York, La Caribe League, filled with a lot of Latinx minor leaguers. Anybody, they scramble to make a buck, and they play pretty well. Fouled off. They say you could compare La Caribe baseball in the Bronx to maybe A-ball at least. At the same time playing in La Caribe, Juan apprenticed for his father's plumbing company. Oh, 0-2. Ball 1. Somehow Juan caught the eye of a friend of the Western Oklahoma Junior College team. Perez got a scholarship 2 years after he got out of high school. Hit .465 in 102 games, and he was sold. That's going to go down the line, foul, out of play, and the count remains 1-2. Last year, Juan Perez made his debut June the 9th. Made a remarkable running catch of a ball hit by Paul Goldschmidt. Going into right center, leaping catch about 2 steps from the wall. Hit the wall, went down, got up, great catch. Foul back. He's 5'11", 185. Spent his first 14 years in the Dominican, and Perez trying to get rid of him, and they count 1 ball and 2 strikes. That's down to third. They get 1. They will turn it for 2. So a 5-4-3 double play that erases Posey. Sends Sandoval to third, and with 2 out, the batter will be Brandon Belt. Second double play turned in. Dodgers turned one in behind Mahalam, who's the master of the double play. Now they get one for Perez. Brandon Belt singled to center, grounded to first, and struck out. And first ball swinging, high pop fly. Uribe, Ramirez, Van Slyke, and it is Ramirez. So no runs, one hit, a man left. And at the end of 6.5, 7-1, Giants. Dodger Baseball on Sportsnet LA is brought to you by Jack in the Box. Try the new Bacon Insider. It's got bacon mixed right into the patty at participating restaurants. And by your Southern California Mazda dealers. As we go to the bottom of the 7th inning, Scott Van Slyke will lead it off. He'll be followed by Juan Uribe and then A.J. Ellis. Madison Bumgarner has struck out 9. His high is 13. That went back to September of 2011. He struck out 13 Padres in 8 1/3 innings. So he has 9 right now. He got Van Slyke in the 4th inning. He was number 7 of the 9. In the Dodger pen, J.P. Howell loosens up so if they can get the Perez spot, they'll hit for him. Curveball over. So just like that, Van Slyke in a hole, 0-2. And hit foul up to the right out of play. And Van Slyke apparently cracking the bat. So he'll have to get another. Paco Rodriguez today made 23 pitches. Chris Perez made 19. Young Dominguez made 13. And Paul Mahala made 80. In the dirt, 1 ball and 2 strikes. Buster Posey behind the plate has a home run and a single today. Buster is 2 for 4. Interesting what he does against the National League and what he does against the American League. Completely different. 1-2. In the dirt, 2-2. They'll check. No swing. Posey in the National League in his career is hitting .323, and that's with over 1,400 at bats. Against the American League, 172 at bats, hitting .186. So knowledge helps a great deal, and he struggles against those pitchers he doesn't know, obviously. For Madison Bumgarner, he has been a tower of strength for the Giants, especially in the Western Division. He came in here in his career against the West 25-15, and he's on his way for his 26th unless he really lets go of this one. Late breaker and high. 3-2. Full count. Ground foul. Bumgarner's pitch count, he's now gone to 102. Three and two. Bumgarner, to our knowledge, his career high number of pitches, 124. He's been over 124 times in his career. That's foul back. The 124, he was pitching against Detroit. He's gone over 120 twice here at Dodger Stadium. Once in 2011 and once in 2012. So only 103 pitches so far. Van Slyke, Juan Uribe, A.J. Ellis, 7th inning. 7-1 Giants. Breaking ball, and Van Slyke went out and got it and pulled it. So a long single to left field. Normally a pitch like that, you would expect a hitter to lean across the plate and hit it the other way. But Van Slyke, big enough, strong enough to reach out. Take a look. Pitch out there and down, and yet he was able to pull the ball. You have to be big and strong to do that. And he pulls it to left field for a leadoff single. Dodgers have had the leadoff man get on 3 times in the last 4 innings. They haven't done anything about it. For Van Slyke, that was a good at bat, 10 pitches. Uribe has doubled and struck out. 9 have struck out today. Fastball foul back. Dodgers have gotten a man on base in every inning but the 5th, and yet they have only 1 run. 1 ball, 1 strike. Into the screen, 1-2. One and two to Juan Uribe. Off speed, just missed on the outside corner. Boy, he gave you a big delivery. Pulled the string a little bit. Just flipped it a little high. Kind of a cutter, but he didn't throw it hard. 2 balls, 2 strikes. And that's in on the hand. And that at 87 was either his quick slider or the cutter. And down goes Uribe. That is also strikeout number 10 for Madison Bumgarner. Well, last year he was 3-1 against the Dodgers, had an ERA of 1.9. Today he has dominated, 10 strikeouts, 6 hits and just 1 run. And here's A.J. Ellis. Lined out to center and popped up to first. Ball 1. So Madison Bumgarner turning in a splendid outfit for the Giants today on this beautiful day. Got a big boost with a 4-run 5th inning. A 3-run home run by Sandoval. Ellis finally finds that hole on the left side. That puts the Dodgers at first and second with one out, and it'll bring up D. Gordon. So D. Gordon coming up. Ground ball that just does find the hole. Hit the ball hard in the second inning. A line drive caught by Pagan. So at least in this instance, the scale works. About a 10 bouncer into left field, and Dave Righetti going out to talk. Dodgers get 2 men on base with 1 out. It is really the only rally they've had. Santiago Casilla, a hard-throwing right-hander, is in the pen. So Righetti wants to find out for himself how his talented young left-hander is going. For Bumgarner, how talented? Well, among other things, this is the 14th time he has a 10 strikeout game. We told you his high is 13. And he has made 111 pitches. And here's D. Gordon. Gordon yesterday had 2 singles, 2 stolen bases, and down he goes on the first pitch. Now remember, when Michael Morse went down, we were talking about a possible retaliation. The last guy in the world, I think, that Bumgarner wanted to knock down was Gordon. I mean, if he's going to retaliate, he's going to go against somebody else in the Dodger lineup. I think that just got away. 1 ball and 1 strike. I mean, there's poor Gordon sitting in the dugout minding his own business, and he's out from under his helmet. 1-1. Gordon bunted for a base hit yesterday. Slow curveball grounded into right field. They will stop the runners, and the bases are loaded. There was no reason, down by 6, to run Van Slyke. So Gordon, after hitting the dirt, gets up, base hit to right, and here comes Bruce Bochy to the top step. He hadn't come out yet. Bochy hesitates. He's waiting to see. Yasiel Puig is going to be the batter. And there's Bruce checking, make sure Casilla is ready. Puig is coming up, and Bochy is still on the step. I think he's trying to get Posey's attention and tell him to go to the mound. Finally, Sandoval sees him. Sandoval goes to the mound. Bruce is buying time for Casilla. So Gordon, with 3 hits in the series now, loads the bases. Gregor Blanco is going to come in, and Blanco apparently will go into left field. They'll take out Perez. Bochy has finally made it to the mound and takes the ball from Madison Bumgarner, who has been brilliant. He went 6 1/3, struck out 10, leads 7-1, so he can't lose. And we'll be right back. Aerial coverage provided by Goodyear with superior performing tires that knock it out of the park. Goodyear, more driven. Giants make 2 moves. Boshi lifts Madison Bumgarner, allowed 1 run, 8 hits, walked 1, struck out 10, made 114 pitches. He can't lose. He can win or have nothing to do with it. The double switch, Casilla and Gregor Blanco. I'm waiting to see, since they both come in at the same time, if Boshi wants, he could have Blanco batting 9th. Oh, we'll wait and see. Casillas from the Dominican Republic. He was originally signed by the A's in the year 2000. And he's facing Yasiel Puig with the bases loaded. Puig is flied to left, single to short, fly to center. We get the report that Blanco is going to bat 9th, which we kind of thought would happen. All right, bases loaded. Van Slyke, Ellis, Gordon. 1 out. Casilla goes very hard. And away, ball 1, 1-0. So Puig 1 for 3 today, trying to get the Dodgers back in the ball game. Casilla has been clocked as high at 99. He has a curve, slider, changeup, and they say still working on a splitter. 1 ball, no strikes. And ball 2. A few years ago in the Coast League, Santiago struck out almost just about 15 batters per 9 innings. Very aggressive. Casilla, 34 years old in July. Spent a lot of time in the Oakland A's organization until he came to the Giants in 2010. And fouled away. 2-1 to count. Dodgers are 3 for 21 with runners in scoring position. And now they have the bases loaded. So Bumgarner goes out with a 6-run lead, and possibly only 4 could be charged against him. It's up to Casilla. 2-1. Van Slyke, Ellison, Gordon all out there. And a fly ball to right. Pence coming up has a good arm. Van Slyke tagging. He's not coming. Perfect throw. Cut off by Belt. So the best Puig can do is a little fly ball to right. 1 down. Dodgers now are 3 for 22 with runners in scoring position in this series. We didn't figure that Justin Turner would come up against the right-hander, but Andre Ethier will.
Andre Ethier.
So Ethier, who sat on the bench today with Carl Crawford against Madison Bumgarner, and now comes into the game against Casilla. We'll check Casilla and Andre Ethier. Ethier against him, hitting about 355. In fact, make it 333. He hadn't faced him much. 1 for 3. Dodgers are 1 for 9 today with runners in scoring position. Fly ball, slicing foul down the line, out of play. Andre played last night, had a home run, a single, walk, and struck out. 2 for 3, and he's done well, as you can see, with the bases loaded. 0-1. 2 down here in the 7th. Bases loaded. 7-1 Giants. Dodgers trying to come back. Tried yesterday to no avail. Down again by half a dozen today. 0-2. Giants scored in the 2nd, the 4th, 4 more in the 5th, another in the 6th. The only Dodger run occurred in the 2nd inning. Home runs by Sandoval, Posey, and Michael Morse, who's no longer in the game but watching. 0-2 to Ethier. Van Slyke, Ellis, Gordon, all out on the lines. Just off the plate, 1-2. Dodgers lift Turner, but Gordon is already in the game with his base hit. Waiting, Hanley Ramirez. Breaking ball, but it stayed up. 2-2. Casilla, way back in 2006, admitted his real name is Santiago Casilla. Until then, he was Jairo Garcia. He was also 2 years, 10 months older than when he had first started in pro ball. Though deuce is wild with the bases loaded and the Dodgers down by 6. Dodgers have loaded them up. They're 1 for 9 with runners in scoring position today. 4 for 23 in the series. 2-2. Base hit into right field. 1 run will score. Pence up with the ball. Strong throw to the plate. And out at the plate from me to you is A.J. Ellis. So the Dodgers get 1, but they try to run on Hunter Pence, and they are nailed. It's very tough to run on him because he has a great arm. But Lorenzo Bundy gambled, tried to send him in with Hanley Ramirez on deck, and a strong throw is there in plenty of time. So the Dodgers would wonder what would have happened had they held him and had Hanley Ramirez come up. 7-2 Giants. Pence to the plate that apparently nailed A.J. Ellis in the eyes of Joe West. So they have an official review. Here it is. It's so tough. Watch the left foot and the tag by Posey. and they're going to stay with the out. So the Dodgers lose a run, an out, a big situation, and in a moment the Dodgers will have to take the field and go on the defensive. And for Don Mattingly, so frustrating. Of course, frustrating enough to try and score a catcher from second base down by 6 runs, and with probably your best hitter, Hanley Ramirez, coming up. So for Bruce Bochy, I think he dodged a big bullet. And here's that play again. It is that close. And those in New York made the decision that the call by Joe West was correct. Of course, Joe certainly had the best view. He's right there looking down at it. So Ellis is indeed out. The Dodgers wind up with 1 run on 4 hits. Good tag by Posey. And we're heading to the 8th inning. And J.P. Howell comes out of the Dodger bullpen, if nothing else, getting a little work for each to sharpen them up.
Thanks to State Farm. Make sure you visit your local agent today to learn more about how State Farm can help you get to a better state.
8th inning, 7-2 in favor of the Giants. D. Gordon, who came off the bench and had a base hit to right field as a pinch hitter, stays in the game and finishes up for Justin Turner. Howell getting ready. He'll be pitching to Hicks, Crawford, and Blanco in that order. So the Dodgers really spinning their wheels. 4 hits for 1 run. And out at the plate, and the Giants holding on to a somewhat commanding lead, 7-2. Giants 7 runs, 10 hits. And the Dodgers 2 runs and 9 hits. Dodgers have had 1 hit in every inning but the 5th, the one time they were retired in order. Brandon Hicks single to left, grounded to third and struck out, 1 for 3. James Phillip Howell by name, better known to the world as JP. From Modesto, lives over in Phoenix. Went to school at the University of Texas. Meanwhile, D. Gordon officially in at second base. And here we go in the 8th inning. Down and away, ball 1. That's just off the plate. 2 balls and no strikes to Brandon Hicks. Ground ball to third. Long throw from Uribe. 1 away. So Hicks goes 1 for 4. And the batter will be Brandon Crawford. Crawford hit into a force play to pick up a run batted in. Hit back to the box, walked, and scored a run. Though he's 0 for 2 with an RBI and a run scored. The Bruin from UCLA. Gregor Blanco, the 3rd left fielder for the Giants today, bats 9th, so he'll be up next. And that's ball 1. Dodgers trying to shut down Crawford as they did last year. It's been Mahalam, Dominguez, Rodriguez, Perez, and now Howell. 2-0. And that's on the inside corner. 2-1 the count. JP originally signed first-round pick by the Royals back in 2004. Made it to the big leagues the following year. Then he went to the Devil Rays and finally to the Dodgers. 2-2. So Crawford, who went to UCLA, Howell went to USC for a little while before going to Texas. Howell has a lot of pitches. 2 fastballs, 4-seamer, 2-seamer. Then he has a knuckle curve. He also has a splitter and a cut fastball. Three and 2 the count. 1 out, 8th inning. 7-2 Giants. Little foul ball out of play. Still 3 and 2. Haven't gotten the paid attendance yet. We're in the 8th inning, but we'll get it eventually. It is a fine crowd on a beautiful day. Don't forget, 5 p.m. game tomorrow night. Matt Cain, Zach Greinke. And a breaking ball misses, and a walk to Crawford. Second time he has walked. The batter will be Blanco. Don't forget, Saturday, April 19th, Dodgers and the D-backs. And the first 40,000 in attendance take home their very own Dodger welcome mat. Compliments of New Era. Buy your tickets today at Dodgers.com/promotions. Buy a welcome mat where you're always welcome here at Dodger Stadium. Gregor Blanco hitting in the number 9 slot. Crawford at first, and high and tight for ball 1. So Crawford at first base. Gordon was knocked down coming off the bench. Now Blanco checks in and he hits the dirt. And it all goes back to Michael Morse, who was knocked down. 1 ball and no strikes. Blanco from Caracas in Venezuela. Fly ball to left field. Van Slyke. So 2 down with Crawford holding at first, and the batter will be Angel Pagan.
Angel Pagan.
Pagan has walked, grounded to third, singled and doubled. The typical of Pagan, especially against the Dodgers. He just wears them out. He's been on base 3 times. Scored a run, knocked in a run. Paid attendance 49,520. 49,520. Missing with a fastball. So with 53 yesterday, we've had 102,000 over 900 for the 2 games. 1-0. And that's off the plate, ball 2. Giants had the big inning. That was the 5th. They scored 4 times. Sandoval hit a 3-run home run. Posey followed with a home run. And that's really been the difference. 2-0. And ball 3 waiting on deck. Hunter Pence. Pence has 1 hit today, doubled in the 3rd inning. But he made that big throw from right field to get A.J. Ellis in the 7th. 3-0. 3-1. When the Dodgers come up in the bottom of the 8th inning, Hanley Ramirez, Adrian Gonzalez, and Matt Kemp. Ground ball wide of third. Uribe the quick way to Gordon. they get the force, and that's it for the top of the 8th inning. So heading to the bottom of the 8th, 7-2 San Francisco. The two Giants taking a look at the schedule for the upcoming game. Giants will be here tomorrow at 5 o'clock. That'll be Matt Cain and Zach Greinke. Monday, an off day. 2 games with the Tigers, Tuesday and Wednesday nights. Dodgers go out on the road. 3 games in Arizona and 3 games in San Francisco. And then they come right back and they'll play Arizona, Philadelphia, and Colorado. You talk about road trips. Happened to read about it the other day. Here we are. The Dodgers will go a little over an hour to Arizona, another short hop over to San Francisco. One year, the New York Yankees went on a 9-city road trip and traveled 3,700 miles before going back to Yankee Stadium. Now, that's a road trip. Although, you know, when we first came out here back in 1958, we would have 21-day road trips a lot. Anyway, 1 ball and no strikes to Hanley Ramirez, who was doubled and struck out twice and was left on deck when A.J. Ellis was thrown at the plate. 2-0 the count. Third base coaches live by the statement, it would take a great throw to get him. And that's basically the rule. Well, it took a great throw, and the Giants got it from Hunter Pence. So that stopped the Dodgers in their tracks. 4 hits, but only 1 run thanks to Hunter. 2-0 to Hanley Ramirez. 2-1. You know, coming in, we were talking about Madison Bumgarner, the fact that he was 3-1 against the Dodgers, 2-1 here last year, and an earned run average of 1.93. Now his career, he is 1.98 at Dodger Stadium, and he stands to win his 6th in 8 decisions here. Hanley hacking away, 2 balls, 2 strikes. Garcia, long look. Now he's ready. 2 balls, 2 strikes. And ball 3. Hanley just trying to get aboard any way he can. Adrian Gonzalez waiting on deck. Garcia, who throws hard, has been on the DL, banged up a lot. 08, 09, 10, 11, and last year. 3-2, and inside for ball 4. So Ramirez draws a walk. Garcia had made 9 pitches in relief of Bumgarner, and now Adrian Gonzalez struck out, doubled to left, and grounded to first. Seven to 2 in favor of the Giants. 1-0 Giants. Dodgers came back to 1-1. They got all the way to 7-1. Dodgers scratched for 4 hits and 1 run in the 7th, with the 3rd out recorded at the plate. A.J. Ellis nailed by Hunter Pence. Now the Dodgers trying to build something up again, and a leadoff walk to Ramirez. A.J. arms folded with his buddy Kershaw. 1 ball, no strikes. Foul back, 1-1. Gonzalez striking out in the first inning against Bumgarner, but then doubled in the 4th. Dodgers left him. Not only did they leave him, Messrs. Kemp, Van Slyke, and Uribe all struck out, while Adrian stood at second base. Ramirez at first, nobody out in the 8th. They have the shift on. 3 men on the right side. Sandoval is not only all alone, Sandoval is much closer to second base. He's beyond the hole at short. So if Gonzalez could just do anything, hit a ground ball to the left side, he'd have a base hit. 1-2. In the dirt, nice save by Posey. 2 balls and 2 strikes. Ted Williams in his prime saw the shift all the time, and Ted had great ego and great confidence and great ability, and he refused to go the other way. Adrian will take the pitch and go that way if that's what they give him. 2-2. Breaking ball, pull foul. 2-2 to Adrian Gonzalez. Matt Kemp drawing blanks today, 0 for 3, waiting on deck. His 3rd at bat, with a nice play by Pablo Sandoval to take a hit away from him and keep Kemp hitless. 2 balls, 2 strikes. Fastball fouled off. At 96, I can say a fastball. Adrian shaking his head. I think he feels he should have been able to handle that pitch. Like the fisherman muttering about the one that gets away. They're backing up Garcia with Machi. Gene Machi, the right-hander. 2 balls, 2 strikes. And breaking ball down and in. So a full count. The outfield almost straight away, and Pence very deep in right field. Full count, nobody out. Ramirez with Belt about 2 feet off the bag, but keeping him in place. Another foul ball, and that was inside on the hands and cracked his bat. So Adrian has to get another. For the Dodgers, the big inning was the 7th. Van Slyke singled, Uribe struck out, but Ellis singled, and then Gordon came off the bench and singled to load the bases. Puig hit a fly ball to shallow right. The runners could not move. And then Andre Ethier came off the bench. Ethier singled to right. That scored Van Slyke. They sent Ellis in, and Ellis was out on a bang-bang play at home plate, leaving Hanley Ramirez on deck when the inning ended. That was a huge play and a great throw by Hunter Pence. All right, 3-2 to Adrian Gonzalez. And way outside. So Gonzalez draws the walk. Garcia now has walked 2, and the batter will be Kemp. So Dave Righetti going out. Casilla has not been solid. He's faced 4 batters. He has given up a single and 2 walks. So he's only gotten 1 man. So Matt Kemp coming up. Righetti holding court.
Matt Kemp.
In looking at Santiago Casilla and Matt Kemp. Kemp is hitting .222, 2 for 9 against him. Matt today 0 for 3, lost a hit on a fine play by Sandoval. So the Dodgers had the bases loaded in the 7th on 4 hits and got 1 run, and they have 2 on and nobody out here in the 8th. And a strike. Hunter Pence, by the way, who made that great throw to get A.J. Ellis and end the 7th inning. Hunter Pence now has 74 assists. He's up there in the top 10. Fastball, 0-2. When you talk about outfield assists, however, the #1 man is Carlos Beltran. Beltran with 133. So Pence has a long way to go. No balls, 2 strikes to Matt. Gonzalez and Ramirez out there. 1-2. Garcia struggling a bit. He made 27 pitches. Breaking ball almost nicked him. So he walked Ramirez, came back to walk Gonzalez. Now he is 2-2 to Matt Kemp, and waiting on deck, Andy Van Slyke. And the fastball hit late and foul. That was almost past Matt. He barely got the bat on that. One reason it was 96 miles an hour. Take a look at this. I mean, there was a little smoke city behind that. And Matt just did get a little gave. See how he bends at the waist? I think Matt was looking more for a pitch inside. Still 2-2. And a tapper to the box. They will get 1. Hicks will throw to first in time for the double play. It's a rare double play in that situation, but it was the second baseman who handled the throw, and coming over to congratulate him was Crawford. So the double play goes 1-4-3. That takes care of Gonzalez, and it sends Ramirez to third. Dodgers just flailing away with runners in scoring position. Since Ramirez was in scoring position, Dodgers are 4 for 24 and a nice somewhat awkward turn by Hicks, but he got the job done. Ramirez at third, and Van Slyke coming up. Scott playing in left field against the starter, Madison Bumgarner. Van Slyke walked, scored a run in the second, struck out in the fourth, had a 10-pitch at bat in the seventh inning, and singled. Dodgers trying to pick up Ramirez from third. Otherwise, they will be 4 for 25 with runners in scoring position. Garcia, who's been a bit shaky, but he got a big double play from Kemp. Still sitting on a comfortable 5-run lead. 2-0. Two and one. Foul back, out of play. 2-2 the count. 5 o'clock tomorrow night, Matt Cain and Zach Greinke. Then the Dodgers are off on Monday, and they'll welcome the Detroit Tigers Tuesday and Wednesday nights at 7 o'clock. And unintentionally fouled away. Check swing. Fastball that jumped at him at 95. Garcia making a lot of pitches. He's faced 6 batters, and it's almost 6 pitches per at bat. This will be number 36. Adrian Gonzalez 1 for 3 with a walk, and that's high to run the count. 3-2 to Van Slyke, and Juan Uribe on deck. Uribe today doubled and struck out twice. Madison Bumgarner went 6 1/3, struck out 10. Three and 2. And strike 3 as Scott started to go to first, but down he goes. 11 Dodgers have struck out today, and at the end of 8, 7-2 San Francisco. Giants. Be sure to follow the Dodgers with MLB.com at bat for your iPhone, iPad, Android, BlackBerry 10, or Windows Phone 8. You can get scores, stats, highlights, live audio, and more. Text at bat to 31826, or be sure to visit Dodgers.com for details. Dodgers make 2 changes. Carl Crawford comes in and takes over in left field. That would be a spot occupied by Howell. And the new pitcher, Kenley Jansen, will go in Van Slyke's spot if you're keeping score of this little gem. Kenley getting in a little work, which is about what you can call it. Dodgers using the bullpen for 1 inning at a time. Dominguez for 1, Rodriguez for 1, Perez for 1, Howell for 1, and now Kenley Jansen in an attempt to stay sharp. And he'll be starting off with Hunter Pence. Ball 1. Pence today hit into a double play. He was actually robbed of a hit. A nice diving stop by Hanley Ramirez. Double, fly to left, fly to right. The 1 for 4, and of course made that big throw to nail A.J. Ellis at the plate and put the stop to a 7th inning uprising. He'll be followed by Pablo Sandoval, who hit the 3-run home run in the 5th inning. 1-1. Breeze blowing out to right field. Pence pretty much doing what he has done in his career. Pretty slow in April. In his career, a .260 hitter, and in May, a .330 hitter. 1-2. Check swing. They look, no swing. 2-2. Pence, by starting today, has now started 177 consecutive games. Longest streak in the National League, but way back of Prince Fielder, 509 starts. Still 2-2 to Hunter. Pence from Arlington, Texas, lives in Houston, Texas. Of course, he played for the Astros for about 5 years. Then 2 years with the Phillies. This is his 3rd year with the Giants. He'll be 31. And lines it into left center. That'll be trouble. Kemp over, can't get there to cut it off. Pence into second base and standing with his 2nd double. And he'll go 2 for 5. So Hunter Pence in the hunt for another double, and that'll bring up Pablo. Sandoval flied to left, flied to center, then hit the 3-run home run in the 5th inning and walked last time up in the 7th. The 3-run home run was hit right-handed against Paul Maholm. And a strike on the outside corner. 0-1. Pablo Sandoval. Pablo from Carabobo, Venezuela. No balls, 1 strike. And that's off the plate. One thing about Pablo, he usually does something outstanding, like that 3-run home run today. Of course, he had a 3-run home run game last year in San Diego and immediately became the first ever reigning World Series MVP to have a 3-home run game the following season. But that's Pablo. 2-1. He had 3 home runs in Game 1 of that World Series at home against the Tigers. Pablo waiting. 2 balls, 1 strike. Off the plate, ball 3. We mentioned it yesterday. Pablo is one of the better hitters on taking balls just out of the strike zone. He has Posey hitting back of him. The best is Freddie Freeman, and then Josh Hamilton of the Angels, and then Pablo. Get down a little bit, you'll get to Brandon Belt. Very discerning hitters. 3-2. Boy, to hit 3 home runs in the World Series, your name goes right there with Babe Ruth, who did it twice, Reggie Jackson once, Albert Pujols once, and Pablo. Three and 2. And ball 4. So a double by Pence, a walk to Sandoval, and that'll bring up Posey.
Buster Posey.
With everything else, the Giants have 11 hits. They received 6 walks, and they've hit 3 home runs. And toss in a couple of doubles. Buster Posey, robbed of a hit by Uribe, popped to short, homered, and single to left. So Buster 2 for 4. Foul back out of play, 0-1. Off speed, 0-2 the count. Jamie Wright gets up in the Dodger bullpen. He is the so-called long man. Hector Sanchez, a switch hitter, comes out on deck for the Giants. No balls and 2 strikes. And pop fly to shallow center. Matt Kemp having to come in. Runners have to hold. 1 away. And now Hector Sanchez batting for Casilla.
Number 29, Hector Sanchez.
7-2, and Sanchez has arrived. He's a switch hitter from Venezuela, from Maracay. Signed by the Giants, came up in 11, so he's been there for 3 years. Now let's see Honeycutt going out, perhaps just to explain to Jansen how they like to pitch to Sanchez. Sanchez, pretty good hitter. In 11, he hit about 260. In 12, about 280. In 13, about 250. Played in the Dominican Summer League. Made a professional debut as an 18-year-old when he was originally signed by the Giants. So Hector with a chance to swing the bat. Doesn't run very well. He's a catcher. So if he hits the ball on the ground to somebody, they have a very good chance of getting a double play. Big overhand breaking ball, ball 1. Sanchez, 5'11", 210. And ball 2. Sanchez has had some problems with his weight. One reason, inactivity. Last year, he was with San Francisco. He was also with San Jose, Fresno, two balls and no strikes. And ball 3. So Jansen is struggling. Sanchez, like Pablo Sandoval, showed up a lot lighter this spring. Sandoval dropped 30 pounds, and we understand that Sanchez dropped 20 pounds. And a strike to make it 3-1. 1 out, 2 on here in the 9th inning with the Giants leading 7-2. The Dodgers will have Uribe, Ellis, and Gordon due up in the bottom of the 9th inning. Three and 1. Fouled away. 3-2. They say that Sanchez, once he gets 2 strikes, chokes up a little bit on the bat. Let's see if that's still holding up. Can't tell till he quiets that bat a little bit. Oh, that handed. Well, let's see. Got so much tape. Yeah, he's choked up now a little. And another foul ball. 3-2. Hector in his career, a batting average of .267. He's hit a half a dozen home runs, and he has about 54 RBIs. Pence at second, Sandoval at first, 1 out in the 9th. 7-2 Giants. Way out in front, badly fooled, and down goes Hector. So 2 down, and Brandon Belt coming up. Don Mattingly going out to the mound. So Jansen walks 1, gives up a hit, strikes out 1. And Mattingly, with Jamie Wright in the pen, has decided that's enough work for Jansen. Don, in other words, is trying to make the best of a bad situation. So Jamie Wright's coming in, and we'll be back. Yesterday and leading 7-2 today. The Dodgers have gone to the bullpen now 10 times as Jamie Wright comes in. Yesterday, Dominguez, League, Withrow, and Wright. And today, in relief of Mahalam, it's been Dominguez, Rodriguez, Perez, Howell, Jansen, and Wright. So if nothing else, Don Mattingly trying to keep his bullpen sharp, using a pitcher an inning. when the Dodgers come up in the ninth, Uribe, Ellis, Gordon, and if anybody gets on, Puig. And the fifth hitter due up in the ninth would be Carl Crawford, who just got in the game. Brandon Belt singled to center to set up a run, grounded out, struck out, popped up. 1 for 4 for Jamie Wright, his second appearance in the 2 games. He made 14 pitches and retired the side in the ninth inning yesterday. 1-2-3. And on ground balls, he got Pagan, Pence, and Sandoval. Remember, yesterday was that somewhat freakish game where the Giants got 8 runs in the first 2 innings, never got another hit, had only one man get on base, and that was a walk. But they won the game going away 8-4. And a high fly ball down the line. Long way for Puig to come, but he's just about there in foul ground. Guns it back in. That's the end of the inning, but he's not playing anything but getting rid of the ball. So no runs, 1 hit, 2 left, and we have reached the bottom of the ninth with the Giants leading 7-2. Inning, the Giants leading 7-2. Last call for the Dodgers with Uribe to lead it off. And the third Giant pitcher comes in, and that would be Yusmeiro Petit. Jamie Wright came in, made 2 pitches, and finished off the top of the ninth inning. And now we look at Petit. Petit, last year, a record of 4-1 and a pretty good ERA of 3.5. The big thing, look at the ratio strikeouts to walks, 47-11, and 4 home runs allowed. So Petit about ready for today, and we can look ahead eventually for tomorrow at 5 o'clock. And that'll be Matt Cain against Zach Greinke, 2 top-tier pitchers going head-to-head. 5 o'clock game on ESPN here at Dodger Stadium. Yusmeiro Petit, big guy. He's only 6 feet, but he's listed at 250. He's from Maracaibo in Venezuela. And ball 1 to Uribe. Juan is doubled, struck out twice, 1 for 3. On deck, A.J. Ellis. And in for a strike, 1-1. Bumgarner went 6 1/3, struck out 10. Casillas struggled a little bit, but he got out of a couple of jams, made 28 pitches, and that's a strike to Uribe. Petit was originally drafted by the Mets. way back in 2002. He was organization pitcher of the year in 2004. They expected great things from him. Didn't quite materialize. Uribe hits a breaking ball foul. Still 1-2. Yusmeiro Petit went over to the Marlins, never made it with the Mets, then to the Arizona Diamondbacks for 3 years. Now with the Giants. 1-2. Chased on a pitch in the dirt. So a tough day as Uribe strikes out a third time. So 12 Dodgers have struck out today. They're down 7-2 with 1 out in the ninth. A.J. Ellis lined out to center, popped up, single to left, and was thrown out at the plate when Hunter Pence made a great throw that put the brakes on the Dodgers offense in the 7th inning. One reason Yusmeiro Petit might very well be a Giant, the reason was last year. He came within 1 out of a perfect game against Arizona at San Francisco. Eric Chavez singled with 2 outs in the 9th inning. So Yusmeiro really found a home coming that close. That stroke to left field, and it will be caught. A driving catch by Gregor Blanco. So Ellis robbed of a hit, and we have 2 down in the 9th inning. For Petit, misery loves company as we take another look at that diving catch by Blanco. Yusmeiro became the 12th player in National League history to lose a perfect game with 2 out in the 9th. Of course, there's one Giant who does have a perfect game, and that's Matt Cain. So, okay, Blanco makes the catch, and here's D. Gordon, came off the bench, single to right field after going down at a pitch high and inside. That's a strike. No balls and 2 strikes the count. 2 down, 9th inning. For the Dodgers, a dismal day before 49,520. They'll be trying to salvage 1 game and avoid dropping to the 500 mark. Came home 4-1. Lose this, they're 4-3. Gordon rolls it to short. Hurried play in the dirt, but in time. Nice pick by Brandon Belt. So Gordon taps out, and it is over. 7 runs, 11 hits for the Giants. 2 runs, 9 hits for the Dodgers, who were thoroughly muffled and stopped by Madison Bumgarner, who is certainly the player of the game. Bumgarner walked 1, struck out 10, and was charged with 2 runs. So the Giants go 2 up on the Dodgers, and Greinke will try to salvage 1 tomorrow at 5 o'clock against Matt Cain. Till then, till Tuesday with Detroit, we wish you all a very pleasant good afternoon.